Hello, everybody. Welcome to another special Wiinter episode of Flashback 64. It's feeling quite festive up in here, just because it's such a large amount of people. I'm Gooey. I'm here with McKenna.
Hello.
And we have, as I said, a ton of people here with us today. Our biggest episode yet. Joining us, actually all West Coasters too.
Hell yeah.
So I'm a little intimidated. We're outnumbered and they might take over the show. Let's see, we got joining us Andrew. How's it going?
Well, just dropped my old copy of Mario Galaxy off the back of my chair here off the top of my head. So that bit's in the garbage. I was trying to find a way to make the syllable count work to do I was trying to squeeze Mario Galaxy into California Uber Alles, but I got nothing. So anyway, that's where I'm at, which is to say a bad place. Hi, everybody.
Already a lot going on.
Sorry, folks. We just spent like 13 minutes shit posting in the green room.
Yeah,
it's weird energy in here today.
You only wish you could see what goes on behind the curtain. We'll move down the coast. Also joining us, we've got our pal Nick. Hey, Nick.
Sup, bro? Sorry, that's my West Coast. That's my impression of being a West Coast guy. Is that okay? Merry Christmas. It's great to see everybody.
Yeah. Perfect.
Damn, you sound just like a guy from the Bay Area.
Yeah, I surf to work. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, hang out at the Hollywood sign. That was good. Okay, I Merry Christmas. I said it's festive in here, but I think this episode's coming out like mid-January. So, but hopefully we bring that energy to you in January when it's like, what the hell else is going on? You know,
the liminal space.
Dull.
Might as well, pretend it's still Christmas. And also joining us is our boy Dre. What's up, buddy?
Hello, everybody. I feel festive. I feel good. I have sucked down the Dayquil. I'm gonna power right through this.
You sucked down the Dayquil, and you're in the music. What music video was it again?
I can't remember the name of the song. Scary Spice. What's her real name? Mel B? Mel C? It's one of the Mels, right? I don't remember my Spice Girls.
The weird dirtbag dude that owns the Red Bull F1 team? No,
I think so. I think. I'm not completely sure.
I'm not
the one that married David Beckham, right?
Isn't that
Posh Spice?
That's a footballist? Okay. Correct?
Mel B. Mel B is Scary Spice.
Yes, Mel B featuring Missy Elliott. I am in that video right now. That green cyber grid.
This is very fitting for normally the theme of our podcast, but we're actually we're on a little Wii mini series here, so we actually need to update the references maybe to 2007 instead. Yeah, that would be more.
I don't
preferable.
remember a single music video that came out in 2007. That is after my time watching videos.
So, as someone who MTV was marketing to at the time, let me tell you, there was a lot of Viva La Bam going on.
Oh boy,
yeah. I've got one song to reference for our flashback segment, but no one's going to be happy about it.
If it's him, I'm hanging up.
No.
If my man's about to rip off the wings of a butterfly, we're done.
I love some him. I don't give a fuck. I hope it is him.
I really just needed to say the word him. Just conjure the heartogram to the mind of the folks at home.
The heartogram. Oh, I used to draw that.
See, you're a him sicko. You are. There's no way you would have said that otherwise. I know you are.
Oh no. Okay, yeah, I definitely was not.
Or you just worked at Izumi's. Like, those are the only two kind of...
Frederick's of Hollywood.
Like, I don't know, I just got a lot of these element decks on the wall. I'm staring at them all day.
We've been talking about the Wii as these winter months go on to kind of lift our spirits and make us... think of the good times when we're in our frozen tundra of the Midwest here. Okay, we've got a lot to get to, but I guess I want to talk to all of you. Maybe we'll go again down the coast. Andrew, I'm going to start with you. What's just the Wii in general? What's your backstory with this console?
Yeah, I remember through some manner of promotional thing, I had a brief period of a free Nintendo Power subscription for like 2 years, and it was like, it was either, I think it was 06, 07? Somewhere in that vein. So I was like getting that state-sponsored propaganda in the mailbox that was just like, yo, check out this upcoming Nintendo stuff, and I was like, all right, sure. And then used my lawn mowing money to stand outside of a Target at 5 a.m. and wait in line to purchase a Nintendo Wii. Basically, what I was getting at earlier is last night I finally finished the Mario Galaxy save that I started in 2007.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. We cleaned up some unfinished business here, which is good because before Goo had asked if I wanted to jump on here, I had gotten to the 59th star and was just so tilted that I was like, no, me and my friends would have killed Mario with hammers, I can tell you that much. I'm done with this man. I reached some spot, I think it was the Sling something Galaxy, where I was just like done dealing with the Wii remote and the camera, and I was like, all right, well, I've had my time with this. I'm just gonna hang up right at the end of the right at the finish line here. So thank you for the necessary external motivation to thank you so much for playing my game.
Yes, yeah. Well, I was excited when I saw you start playing it again and stuff, and I was like, okay, perfect. Another good reason to have Andrew back on. And that same, honestly, this goes for all our guests. When I was like just like looking for who could be on here, and when I saw, obviously, Andre, you're obvious because you're our Mario guy.
I'm the Mario guy.
You just talked about this game into a microphone for like 4 hours on a different show recently. Like,
I did. I was on Selected Start with Kiefer, and I did talk about Mario Galaxy for a long time. That was my second appearance on a show. The first time a couple years ago, I talked about Mario 3. So I'm just the Mario guy for everybody. That's just who I am, and that's fine. I will accept this role in my life.
Expert.
Mario correspondent.
Call him the Mario, of course.
Our Super Mario brother.
2 with y'all, so hey, I'm here for all the Mario.
Well, I do want to shout out Select and Start podcast. They had a great episode with you where you also talk about this game. So if you don't get enough here, go check that out. They just had a great one about Ocarina of Time come out as well, and this McKenna doesn't even know this. I've been talking to Kiefer about getting. He's going to come on, I think, one of our Wiinter episodes that we already have planned. So Wiinter, yeah, trademark Flashback 64. But when I posted about Wii games, I got excited too when I saw Nick. You say you were really into this game because I was like, perfect. This is a cool dude to get on the show, and so I guess moving down the coast, what's your Wii backstory?
Don't you guys live like next door to each other? By the way, like, aren't you in the same apartment building or some shit?
Yeah.
Who's that?
We live together.
Nick and Andre.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's just on the other side. Yeah, the other side of the room.
Calling from inside of the Neo Geo cabinet behind you.
I'm in the side room.
Am I incorrect? Are you more north? Who's more north?
Great question. Who's more north?
Technically, he is. So he can go next.
Okay.
Oh man! Okay. All right. This is exciting.
I just want to get my geography straight. I've played Cruisin' USA. I understand a little bit of the West Coast and how it works.
Yeah.
But,
I live
I've
in
played
Nevada
Death Stranding.
now, but
I know where states are.
I am from San Diego, so that is about as far south as you can get. So in any of these situations, I would be going last.
On a long enough timeline, I'm from Carlsbad. Like, how bad do you want to stretch this thing?
I know,
right? Well, I was born in Seattle, so
jeez, it's all messed up now. All right, shuffle the deck.
Redo the podcast. Redo it.
Nick, come back. It's all gone to hell without you.
So the Wiinter. I'm gonna. It's an upsetting thing to say. I stood in line also for the Wii. I was so excited before the Wii came out. I was stoked. I don't know what it was. I think I had some disposable income for the first time, and I was like, I'm going and I'm going to go buy a video game console when it comes out. Stand outside Best Buy in Marin County. I stood outside there for about 7 hours. and it came out with a Wii, with Zelda, with I want to say Monkey Ball and a bunch of other stuff. And I got to be honest, not disappointed. The Wii is one of my faves through it all, and it in fact hosts my all-time favorite game, a little game called Super Mario Galaxy.
Sin and Punishment stuff. Oh.
Yeah, Sin and Punishment too. That works as well. I think that's pretty good. Carnival games.
Yeah,
dude, there's so much good like Secret Simple 2000 games on the Wii that just got slapped with random branding over here too. Like we joke about the Carnival games, but if you like some actual good Garbo,
you do.
I don't actually have any recommendations. Just you go with God. I don't know. Good luck.
We need to do like a good Garbo edition sometime.
We've gotten so far.
Like that terminology.
We've gotten so far away from that stuff. I don't think people realize stuff like Earth Defense Force used to be like simple 1500 or 2000 games or something. And we've gotten so far away from it now. Like it doesn't even register. Now that's like a legit series, right? Legit.
Oh yeah. Well, Dre, what's your backstory with the
Simple series?
Yeah, so I'll tell you all about the Simple series. I like everyone else, I was super excited for Wii. I knew a lot of my friends worked at Game Crazy. I don't know if you guys remember that chain of stores.
Yeah. No.
Okay,
I remember that chain link fence on the wall of that chain of stores.
Wow.
But yeah, I had a few different inroads to definitely pre-order a Wii. They tipped me off. It's like, okay, it's happening today. Come with your fresh $50 bill and slap it down. And I did that. And I remember I had to work that day that it came out. It was like a Sunday. It was like a weird day. And I'm a casino worker. Time means nothing to me. So I'm working at every
the clocks.
Weekends
right.
don't exist, right? So I was working that day. I didn't get off till 11. So I was like, I'm not going to be able to get to the fucking store in time to get this stupid thing. A friend of mine got it for me because again I knew everybody. So it's like they gave it to him, which is like not cool at all typically in normal fashion, but she gave it to him, whatever. I got the Wii, I got it home, I was super excited. I couldn't wait to what were the first two virtual console games? I know it was Mario Brothers and Bomberman 93, I think. For TurboGrafx 16, and I remember downloading those, and I had Zelda, of course, and I had Excite Truck, and my friend was over. We were going to play this. Excite Truck made me so mad I threw the Wiimote across the room, and the batteries went ping. They went across the room. I'm not a controller thrower. Look, I can be a bit of a hothead or whatever. I have thrown controllers. I can count the times I've done that on one hand. I threw my brand new fucking Wii remote across the room because that game made me so upset. I was so pissed. Anyway, but yeah, that's my big memory of Wii night.
I was playing Excite Truck literally not 12 hours ago going, this game rules!
I can't. The game made me so fucking mad. I can't even. I don't even want to think about it.
It is impossible to control, but yeah.
It's the frame rate is a question mark. I don't even know what's happening there.
It's like 25 somewhere in there. It's rough. But,
maybe I don't even know what the cap is actually because it runs so whatever. And it's just like, I just ran through all the trees. I get like a 5x bonus speed or something like that. And it's like you're not even driving on the track. Like what is this game? Anyway, but yeah, it is a system I enjoyed for a long time until I didn't. I feel like around 2010-ish, Nintendo took a unrecoverable turn for the worse for like years and years until Switch came around. But that's a whole other story. But yeah, I enjoyed.
Some might argue they did that in 2000, but that's fine.
I enjoyed Wii for a good solid 4 years there, I would say.
Oh, you weren't impressed by that, like the Wii Mini thing they made?
The Canadian one?
Jesus Christ.
The one with no internet, no GameCube, and composite video only?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
No, thank you.
It's so cute, though.
Thanks.
Look at it.
It is cute.
That would have kept me going until Switch, I tell you.
Yeah.
Well, okay, cool. Well, Excite Truck, I guess we won't fast track that one to cover.
Just don't invite me unless you want me to be mad for 90 minutes, which is, I mean, look, that could be entertaining
good,
too,
yeah.
but...
I was playing it because we're, I think, covering it on time extent here pretty soon if you want to come jump on that.
I do not.
That'd go well. You sure?
Okay, well...
You don't want to go finish it?
This is going to finish me.
Yeah. Hey, it worked out. It worked out for Andrew, with Mario Galaxy. Maybe.
Yeah, man.
Excite Truck. There might
Heal
be
old wounds.
This is related to our Wii discussion. I must read this right now. I just got a notification on my phone from the Nintendo Music app.
From John Nintendo?
Tracks from the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword game for Wii have been added.
There we go.
Yes, so now we can listen to the Skyward Sword game on an app.
That's one of McKenna's favorites.
I think that actually might be the game that made me give up on the Wii entirely.
I was already kind of out on Nintendo by the time Skyward Sword came around, and that just reaffirmed my position 100%.
Oh,
I feel bad. I know we're on a what is tangentially a Zelda podcast, but that one,
yeah, McKenna needs to defend.
that one was like ripping the e-brake on the
So,
freeway for me.
that's one of my favorite Zelda games.
I've been hearing that more and more.
Get in there
over the years.
God bless you.
You have to defeat Dre in the battle of ideas.
The marketplace of ideas.
Is God bless you just the Oakland version of bless your heart? Like, is that the...
Yes.
Is that like the meanest thing you've ever said?
Well, you know what? The soundtrack to that game is pretty banging.
Probably.
It's good.
You know what else has a great soundtrack? Mario Galaxy.
That's true.
That was good.
The game came out in North America November 12th, 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I said no one was going to like this. The number one song at the time was Kiss Kiss by Chris Brown featuring T-Pain. So,
Terrible
look, that's
song.
just the facts. I'm just here reporting the facts. Number one movie at the time was Beowulf. You remember that guy with the CG?
The CG Beowulf.
God.
I remember thinking that movie looked like a PSP game.
You were right.
It was very PSP.
Does that check out?
It's very Uncanny Valley as hell. I actually watched it some time ago because I had never actually seen it. It's something. It wasn't terrible. It's just like, this was a decision. That's all I can really say about it.
I didn't mean visually. I just meant like vibes. Like, it just looked like, I don't know.
It was 2007. That was high time for a game. See what I'm doing for a movie to look like that.
They maybe had subconsciously wanted you to make that swap. Who knows?
Yeah, there was like a lot of movies in this time where it was like Uncanny Valley movies to varying degrees.
Everything looked like cutscenes from Need for Speed Most Wanted, but not in a good way.
And you didn't even get to race,
I didn't even get to yell $5,000. What are we doing?
None of the charm.
Polar Express to me is like tip top like Uncanny Valley movie. That shit is wild.
That one's a problem.
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah, it is. That's the top one.
All right, here's some games that also came out at the time.
Just a few.
I'm gonna let you know. Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Burning Earth for Xbox 360.
3,000 achievement points, baby. I finally did that like a couple months ago. That's the only reason that's fresh in mind now is people had been talking about that game as a way to like get 1,000 achievement points in the tutorial or whatever forever.
It's the easiest 1,000 ever. You can do it in like 2 minutes or something.
I finally found it for like $1 at a thrift store recently, and did that after all these years. I was like, I feel like I've been missing out on like a cultural moment since like 2007.
I remember when my roommate at the time popped that on he's like, you have to see how easy this is, and he just did it for me. I was like,
they weren't kidding. You literally just mash Y through the tutorial and it's done.
It's incredible. It's so funny. Yeah, it's a Xbox 360 rite of passage.
Wow. Okay, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Ask me literally anything else about Avatar and the Burning Crusades or whatever you just called it.
You haven't played it, obviously.
No.
McKenna's a big Avatar fan, but
I haven't played any of the games. Yeah.
Okay, there was an Avatar game at the launch of the Wii as well. So
there were a few. I feel like like over the years.
Yeah, I can't imagine, or I never hear anybody talking about them. So I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's only one. Well, a lot of these are in the same vein. We've got Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Imagination Invaders for the DS, PS2, and SpongeBob's
We're hitting all the big 2007 hits, Dre. Just hold on.
SpongeBob Atlantis Square Pantis for the Wii, and then Ultimate Mortal Kombat for the DS.
Ooh.
So there you go.
I didn't realize they did that.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. That's how I learned about it too. So
UMK3,
those were
or is
the
it
only
other...
games.
All right.
But how many good games do you need to come out on one day? You know, Mario Galaxy came out.
Yes.
I think we're good.
Fuck Mario. Fuck Metroid Prime 3 or, whatever. Just.
Well, yeah, for whatever reason, I thought you just meant like holiday period 07, which is a lot of other big capital G gamer games.
That's just the one day.
Meant, like literally stuff that was coming out on this platform in that week or whatever. Like, yeah, it would make sense that everyone else would be running for the hills to get out of the way of the release date of Mario Galaxy.
No, but children's cartoons fans, you were eating good that week.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because you were playing Mario Galaxy statistically.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was well past being a child, but I was definitely playing Mario Galaxy and Dynasty Warriors Gundam.
Well, yeah. What were the holiday 2007 games then? You said Metroid Prime.
Yeah, I because it was. I recently, they haven't aired yet on Flying Time, but we did like the BioShock trilogy, and there was a bunch of stuff, and the reason why I didn't play that game at the time is because there was a bunch of stuff in August 2007. As I said, the Dynasty Warriors Gundam, there was Metroid Prime 3, there was Blue Dragon, I think, around that time. And I was just like, I'll get to BioShock later. Later turned out to be like 3 months ago. So like,
still way too early.
You made good.
Yeah. Oh, those are going to be interesting.
Oh, I cannot wait to hear those episodes, dude.
I'm looking at a thing about what games were coming out holiday 2007, and I found an article from The Gamer, and it is called "What a Gamer Would Have Gotten for Christmas in 2007." Which,
please kill me. That's the last shovelful of dirt on my grave. Actually,
it's impossible to know for sure.
What a gamer,
Grandpa.
Yeah, there's no way to know. I mean,
We've uncovered some archaeological evidence.
Wait, so hold on. Just for the sake of clarifying our like syntactic structure here. So the gamer told you what a gamer
the gamer told me about what a gamer would have received in 2007.
Back when there were other gamers before I ensured I was the last one.
The ultimate gatekeeper.
McKenna, you've got some research?
Yeah. The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass came out in October 2007.
Oh, nice.
Yuck.
It's good.
Geez. That's my favorite of the DS Zeldas.
They're so. I'm sorry, guys. I can't with that game. I just can't.
I haven't played it, so I take whatever position's funnier.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't feel like the need to defend the game, so I guess it's
just sorry. Anyway,
I'll say it's definitely not my favorite, but I have fun with it, and I think it's an underrated Zelda.
I thought it was fun drawing a map. I thought that was fun. That was kind of fun.
Look, I as long as the Spirit Tracks is the one, I hate that one because there's like the little blowing or like yelling in the mic gimmick in Phantom Hourglass, but it's just a little gimmick that you do like once or twice. In Spirit Tracks, they're like, let's make that an item. So you have to like constantly be blowing into the microphone I don't want to be constantly blowing into any of my video game consoles.
As someone that finally got a Famicom disk system a couple weeks ago, I am suddenly way into anything Zelda related that implies yelling or blowing into a microphone. I'm now sick. Like, this is actually extremely rad.
Mm-hmm. That enemy they use that mechanic in those games, so that was cool. But
I'm one of those kids who that confused the hell out of in our manual because they just kind of translated it over exactly. It hates loud noises, so I thought that meant the flute or whatever. And then it's just like, well, that's not a mechanic. Yeah. That's not a mechanic we have in America here at all. So it confused me.
Oh god. That reminds me when we were reading the manual with Nick the other week. It mentions, I forgot what it was, but it gave a hint about how to fight Dig Dogger, the boss Dig Dogger, that does require the flute, and it didn't mention anything about it. So
it's
all right,
so
anyway.
weird.
Revisiting old trauma.
I feel like usually Dig Dug is defeated by
Dig Dug.
little.
Dig Dugger. My favorite Zelda boss.
Yes.
Good old Dig Douglas.
Super Mario Galaxy is a 3D platformer in which Mario travels through various galaxies to collect Power Stars, defeat Bowser, and save his special one, Princess Peach. With the help of Rosalina and the Lumas, Mario will be able to navigate the cosmos. Gravity works a bit differently in this game. Some levels feature more typical gravity in which Mario falls downwards towards the bottom of your screen, but many levels feature objects with their own gravity, allowing Mario to walk around them without falling off. In addition to his usual jumps and vaults, he can spin with a shake of the Wiimote and shoot star bits by aiming the Wiimote. With the use of power-ups, Mario can transform into Bee Mario, Rainbow Mario, Boo Mario, Spring Mario, Ice Mario, or Fire Mario, each with their own abilities. In Co-Star mode, a second player can assist by collecting and shooting stars, stopping enemies, and making Mario jump or spin. Together, player 1 and 2 can perform a powerful jump where Mario jumps very high. Collect grand stars so you can repair the Comet Observatory and travel to the center of the universe to rescue Princess Peach from Bowser.
You can do a two-player jump?
Yeah, it's in the manual.
Oh, shit. I glanced at the manual, but didn't read it that deeply. We did not do much of the co-star mode.
No, just a little bit. You collected some stars.
It gets a little old, honestly, but...
It's fun for like a kid. It's like, oh, I'm playing the game along with you or something like that. I think that's kind of what it was intended for, obviously. But, yeah.
It's like giving them a fake steering wheel or something.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
I tried it with my kids last night, and they were like, this is really not... like, they were like starting to fall asleep.
Yeah.
It was not asking much of them, in terms of what they were able to do in most situations, because, like... shooting star bits at stuff does not usually do a whole lot in this game, I feel like.
No, in fact, I wouldn't want to give it to any children because
that is
like,
a limited supply.
I need to feed the hungry Lumas.
Yeah, I need those star bits, please.
Yeah, don't use them on some stupid, Goomba.
Please, somebody who's good at the economy, help me.
All right, well, Dre, you're the Mario expert.
No.
No. What's your story with this game? You talked about getting the Wii, hating Excite Truck, but when did Mario Galaxy come into your life?
Yeah, it was the right game at the right time for me. Like, this generation, this PS3 360 generation is like my least favorite.
The PS Wii 60 generation.
Right.
Wii 60.
Ooh.
I remember that. Fucking PS3. Fuck that PS Triple. We're getting a Wii 60, right?
Somewhere Chad Warden just felt a disturbance in the force.
It's my least favorite for a lot of reasons. I just think it's like the beginning of just soul-sucking AAA nonsense that I just have never been into and will never be into.
Again, cannot wait for those BioShock episodes.
Yeah, I just not for me. So, okay, maybe I should back up a little more, because the only E3 I ever went to was E3 2006. I got to go. And
nice.
That was the big unveiling of Wii there, But you know how Nintendo is. It was cordoned off in this, like, huge booth that was, like, with these tall walls. No one could see inside. And the lines were astronomical, so I never got to go in there. Mm-mm. So, like, I guess I could have waited. Two of my friends I went with
Project Hammer?
I know, I didn't get to see Project Hammer. The only thing I remember from that booth is, like, Reggie took a lap around and there was cheering or something. I saw Reggie for 2 seconds. That was about it. But at some point, I
Did he
decided,
kick your ass and
I'm
take
not
your
going to leave
name?
this line anymore. Yeah, he did not kick my ass and take my name. I did not allow him to do that. But yeah. Any point is, my two friends who got to go in there told me how cool it was. They got to play Mario Galaxy for 10 minutes, and I was so super jelly until the game actually came out. And like I said, this is what I needed. At some point, I need the meat and potatoes. I can't just do I think stuff like Wii Sports or whatever is fun, but at some point I need like a real ass video game. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like
Yeah.
I just can't subsist off of all this waggle stuff forever. And the 360 and stuff wasn't giving me a whole lot in return. I was like, oh boy, I can play Gears of War or something, stuff I'm not into. There's nothing wrong with Gears of War. It's just not my scene, right? I had a 360, but point is, Mario Galaxy kind of just rescued my brain because, like, at that point in 2007, I was like, where is this? What even are video games right now? It turned out Mario Galaxy was my cure. It's like I said, it's one of my favorite games of all time. It was my favorite Mario game until Odyssey happened, and
Okay.
it's incredible. It wasn't it for the time, and still today, like when I played it on Super Mario 3D All Stars on Switch or whatever, I'm like, it was better than I remembered. It was better. Because usually you go back to stuff. Yeah, usually you go back to stuff like that, and it's like, how good was it really? Or so. It was better. I liked it even more, and I already thought it was like a 10 out of 10, an A+. Right? Now it's like an A+++.
I had a similar experience myself playing it again this time. I've only played it once before, but this I really appreciate it a lot more this time. Nick, how about you? It's your favorite game. I didn't even know that.
In fairness, I have like kind of a rotating 3 favorite games, kind of depending on where I'm at. But spoiler alert, 2 of them are Mario Galaxy because the other one is Mario Galaxy 2. So, so I'm a big Galaxy guy. The other one is Celeste. I love platformers maybe. And I was kind of in a similar position with the games space at the time. I didn't have any antipathy towards the 360 or the PlayStation 3 or anything. I had played a lot of games that I loved, but I was finding myself, I was in college, I was focused on that. I was finding myself feeling just a bit detached from a lot of the kind of I guess like guiding principles of games at the time. Corridor shooters, gruff dudes, like brown environments, that sort of stuff, violence, sadness, Gears of War. And I was just not feeling it. And I got Mario Galaxy and popped it in. Because I love Mario. I'll always take a chance on a Mario game, right? Not like, which is very brave to take a chance on a Mario game.
I know. Very bold of you.
But because I'm a brave, bold person, I gave it a shot. And I was just like, oh man, this feels like what I felt when I was a kid playing Super Mario Brothers on the NES and all of those. Like, there's a sense of wonder to it. The music is remarkable. It's gorgeous. It still stands up today, from a visual standpoint. And I just think like it blew my mind and it blows my mind today. Just the amount of creativity, platforming creativity is in that thing. And they present it all in a way that had never been done before and has not been done, I think, quite as well since. It's just amazing. There's also a sort of a melancholy to the whole thing, which I think is really very unique for a Mario game that helps keep it standing out. I will say, I love Odyssey. I love all that, but there's something about the sort of off nature of the vibes in this game that really speak to me.
Did Jacob Geller do a thing about this at some point, or am I hallucinating that? I guess I could Google it instead of just saying it aloud into a microphone. But
there is a video I saw some video that suggested as such, but I tried to avoid it because I was like, I'm gonna watch it after our episode. I didn't want to I didn't want to be over influenced by other, like, I don't know, we're not reviewing it, but you know what I mean. I didn't want to do that. But there is something I saw that touches on like the loneliness aspect of that game, which I definitely, it has like a totally unique vibe to like any other Mario game. I mean, it's been a while since I played Galaxy 2, but I feel like even that slightly feels different, but they obviously share a lot of the same sort of vibes.
Galaxy 2 definitely has a different vibe. I would say the reason if I have to go between if I have to decide between Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2, Galaxy 1 is a complete package with a vibe that really matches what's going on. Galaxy 2 is just like a masterclass in level design, but the first one has the vibe in a way that number 2 doesn't.
Galaxy 2 is a party, I feel like.
Yeah.
That's Yoshi's here, you're doing.
yeah. It feels like it feels more celebratory, where it's like Galaxy 1 is definitely going for a thing in particular, especially with, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about Rosalina's storybook and whatever, right? But like, it's going for a thing. Galaxy 2 is a celebration of Mario.
Yeah, I never, when we talked about this before recording, but I picked up 2 and I've never played it. Got it when it came out, and I was like, I should finish the first one first, and then we know what happened there. So it's just been on the shelf forever, and I'm looking forward to eventually jumping into that thing. But my understanding is that the second one is more of the classic like NES style table of levels, moving kind of point to point, as opposed to having a super melancholic hub world. One of the last things that I did before wrapping it up last night was I accidentally walked into the library thinking that was another, Galaxy full of levels or whatever, and caught up on a bunch of stories that had banked up that I had not checked in on, and was just like button mashing through it because I was like, this is entirely too depressing. I can't. Nope, not right now. I am not in a place where I can handle this.
You're supposed to take it in small doses.
Yes, turns out when you get fire hosed by it, it's a lot. It's it's very
the game's trauma dumping on you.
100%. Yeah, in ways that feel weird. It's like you invented characters just to make them suffer.
Yeah.
So I guess we hit on your backstory a little bit, Andrew. Like you got the game and then sort of bounced off of it, right? I mean, was there excitement about it beforehand, or
there was?
You said your friends were pumped.
Excitement about it for sure. What I meant earlier by me and my friends would have killed Mario with hammers, I would tell you that much. It was just doing the old tweet about ET. Trying to
of course,
convey my frustration with some camera and control issues I was having in the slide pod or sling pod galaxy at the end there. But no, at the time I remember it being a very big thing, but also like being a 14-year-old boy in 2007 in these United States, that a lot of the oxygen in the game spaces was being sucked up by Halo 3 and Call of Duty 4 and the Orange Box and stuff like that. Mario Galaxy was absolutely the other, I think, biggest thing of that era, from what I can recall at least. I remember that being like the other kind of like big... I was going to say a game that's not about, shooting dudes, but, there is a B trigger on the Wii remote and star bits. What are star bits if not, remotely controlled mortar cannon or something?
Sure.
Hashtag give Mario a gun. But I played it at the time and played through a decent chunk of it. I'm trying to remember what the star count was when I sent you that picture. It was like 40 something. It was not nothing. But I think I got up to some point in the Toy Time Galaxy, whatever it was called, something like that, and was just again, I just hit a point where I was tilted with a 3D Mario game and was like, well, I'm done, and then just never picked it back up. I didn't mean like done, like forever done. I was just like, well, I'm not gonna play this anymore tonight, and then I just that was, it's kind of like, at some point your mom puts you down as a kid and never picks you back up again. It's like one of those moments. Is that
tonight became forever?
That was me with Mario.
With games, I have plenty where I'm like, all right, I'll finish this later, and then and then just
life happens and you fall off, right? Like there are plenty of games that I have a great deal of like personal enjoyment of, and in addition to respect for and stuff that I just never got around to finishing because life happened. somehow or some way, and this is absolutely one of those. But so like forever, it lived in my memory as a game that was like pretty good, but eventually I just kind of was not able to keep up with it. And I think part of that might have also been a lingering frustration with Mario Sunshine, a game that took years off my life.
Sure.
And frankly, I cannot believe shipped in the state that it did, especially from Nintendo.
They had to. They had to.
I guess
they did
had
not
to,
have a choice.
But like,
yeah, they absolutely had to. There's a reason why it's. I mean, yeah.
I wish they hadn't. Though
they had to release it. Yeah. Well, you know.
Yeah, Sunshine. It never fully captured me when I was a kid.
The world is a measurably worse place for its participation in it, I think. But
you've not played. We'll get to that eventually. We'll
do that. What the fuck did McKenna do to deserve that? don't put Mario Sunshine on her.
We'll have fun.
Good music. It's got good music. The vibes are good when you're not playing it. The vibes are very good.
The vibes are great. The music is incredible.
Yeah.
But sorry, I thought of that Lou Reed interview with like Rolling Stone or whatever, where people are asking him if he has stock in Sirius XM, and he just like flips the table over. I'm just like, do not inflict Mario Sunshine upon McKenna. She did nothing to deserve that.
Well, okay, yeah, we can't get into it now.
I'm sorry, I was doing a bit, but like I had a lingering sort of like, I don't know about this Mario guy, man. I don't know what they're doing really with that dude so much anymore. And
I thought you were going to talk about the Quincy Jones interview where he called the Beatles no playing motherfuckers or whatever.
No, I think Quincy Jones was way too nice to the Beatles, actually. But that's. It's I don't know. I was in a weird place with Nintendo around that time anyway. I felt like they was. I think I felt like what a lot of kids that grew up with the NES and then aged into the Genesis might have felt, which is just like, I don't know if they're making games for me so much anymore. Which is, again, just a product of being a 14-year-old boy and an idiot. But, anyway, all that to say, I played a good chunk of it and was like, just, life happened and I fell off, and it lived forever in my memory as a game that was like, had a lot of really cool and creative ideas, but the lingering sensation that I recalled was one of frustration from dealing with just the inaccuracy of the Wii Remote and some of the weird kind of camera issues that are always going to be something of a difficult problem to solve with any kind of 3D platforming design, especially when you're getting
part of the legacy of Mario.
Totally, yeah. Like the one thing that gamers know about Mario 64 is the shadow underneath Mario that like tells you where you're going to land or whatever. And anytime there are like dynamic shadows being used in a modern 3D platformer, gamers freak out about it. Because that's like the thing that they know to point to as canonically good design. And like it is, I get it. But anyway, all that to say, I felt like Galaxy was a game with wildly ambitious design ideas and maybe not necessarily as much of the polish that you might want to back those design decisions up and give them the like level of presentation that they need to shine effectively. I don't think I would have had the words for that at the time, and I don't think I even feel that way now, but I think that's a relative summary of how I have spent the last 17 years in terms of the way that this game has lived in my mind, I guess, is a very long roundabout way to get to that. I'm sorry.
No, I'm glad we now can set the record straight. We can right the wrongs.
It's a good video game, folks.
Yeah,
hot take.
When I was kind of similar, I think, because I was 17 when it came out, and I was just in general like video game. I was still playing. I've mentioned this before. I was also like hanging with my friend. I was in a band in high school, but we were mostly playing video games together. So
that's what bands in high school do. That's yes.
So I wasn't playing a lot of video games that weren't, people are going to judge me, but that weren't Super Smash Brothers Brawl, because that's what was out at the time, and me and my friends were playing that after band practice.
That is the least offensive Super Smash Brothers, so I'm with you. They need to put tripping back in.
Brawl's good. I don't give a fuck. I hate when people shit on that game. Cool. Okay, Brawl's good. I don't care.
I'm gonna go one
All right,
step
now
further.
I'm feeling myself. It's the best one.
It's the best one. It's the best one. It's got the coolest stuff. Luigi's the best in it, and that's all that really matters to me. It's fantastic.
Luigi's
I'm mostly just here from the tripping.
Cool.
Yeah,
Luigi's Poke.
Bring tripping back. When this came out, I remember actually me and my friends would go like walk around Walmart on Black Friday to do nothing, like because we lived in a small town where there's nothing to do, and I remember seeing like a kiosk having it and being like blown away, just by looking at the game, and being like, I want to get this, and then I did not do it right away, but I ended up playing this game a couple years later when I lived at a punk house with like a projector, and we would just play Wii games on it a lot.
It's very punk.
And so I played this, it was pretty cool to do, I guess. But I played it like back to back with Galaxy 2.
Wild. Okay.
And I played it and I just kind of did the bare minimum to like beat it. The majesty and wonder of the game really didn't rub off on me at the time as like I was like 21 or something. I don't know. I was sort of like you were saying, Andre, where I was like video games had kind of like I'd lost them a little bit. I wasn't like fully invested in them.
Mm-hmm.
But also like at the time I think I wasn't even like it, like I also didn't like play Mario and was like this was what I needed. I think I was just like, yeah, whatever, it was fun. It was Mario, but it just didn't wow me,
Right.
And I was just like sort of apathetic about it. And then I don't know, then I just didn't think about it for a long time. And then when, when it came back around with like the 3D All-Stars and everything, I didn't pick it up, but I was like, was that game like, how, I guess I never thought it was bad. I thought it was really good, but I just didn't like, I always would think about Mario 64 or something in my head as like, that's my go-to Mario, probably because of nostalgia or whatever. But when we went to play it again, I was like, I don't know like what I really actually remember about the game and if it's good, but like this time around, like I felt the wonder, of the whimsical nature of Mario actually came upon me this time, and I was really into it, especially because we were playing it together.
Mm.
And for you, McKenna, this is
my first time playing.
McKenna is we've established this, but you're relatively new to Mario in general. Like you haven't played a lot of the games.
Yeah, I pretty much before we started this, I had played Odyssey.
Yes. So you were working backwards.
Yeah, doing things in a very odd order.
So you've gone for Odyssey.
Is he order? Sorry.
Yeah.
We're going to cut that, and also just my entire audio track.
Deleted.
So from Odyssey to 64, and now, like, mercifully past Sunshine. What was your feeling about it? I guess as a whole, but I guess in comparison to those games as well. Like, what'd you think?
Yeah, I love the vibes of this game. Like Nick said, I really like the melancholy. That's just something I like in general in games. And
you love melancholy.
It's just a little like it's a little sad.
Love to vibe out, but like bummed.
Yeah.
Recreational sadness, I call it. Yeah.
It's a good like ratio though. It's only a little bit, because it's also like
it's like also delightful.
Yeah, like for me, it's like such a game of whimsy, but it is also melancholic.
Mm-hmm.
Walks that line really well.
Well, I think that whimsy comes from it. It feels like to me, Mario Galaxy is the first game where Nintendo was like, and Odyssey is like this too, but Galaxy is the game where it feels like Nintendo was like, all the ideas, give me all your ideas, good ideas, shitty ideas, put them all the ideas in this game. We're gonna do all of them, and they're all gonna work in the guise of this one Mario game. Everything you got, and it works. And like Odyssey, and that's why Odyssey is my favorite, because I think it does that even better. But like Galaxy does it in a sort of, I don't want to say linear, but a much more authored way, right? Like Odyssey is all over the place. You're exploring all these weird things, and it's like, oh, what happens if I do this? Oh, what happens if I go over here? Galaxy is more of a straightforward level design type of thing, but it has all the, it's like, what's going to happen next? Who knows? Like that's the exciting thing about it. So yeah, that whimsy is definitely, that's to me, that's where it comes from. Just so many ideas that somehow coalesce into this thing.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of that whimsy and melancholy need to coexist as well to provide that contrast for each other. If it was all delightful and cozy, it might ring a little bit hollow or empty calories to some extent. And not to say that, not to parody myself and be like, every game should be a little bit sad, but I think placing those two things in the context of each other in this game, I think makes them both shine out a little bit brighter, because the piano in the background will be quietly weeping into its drink while you have a little star dude shouting at you next to a toad, just screaming about being alive, and they're just so excited to exist, and I'm just so happy for them.
Or one's like, feed me!
Feed me! I need to explode.
Please kill me! What?
Oh, I love the toad. The toads are awesome too. Just a completely goofy ass group of guys that occasionally that's even that is there's the melancholy aspect, and then there's just the fun, exciting Mario stuff, and then when you go to a galaxy that's you're oh, this is the spooky ghost galaxy, and you show up and the toad ship is there, and you're get to see what they're doing, and they're dance, break dancing or screaming or something. It's it's this extra level of insane energy that they bring.
Is this the debut of Captain Toad?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I couldn't remember in something before. I couldn't remember if it was in New Super Mario Brothers or something like that. But no, I guess it would be this.
Yeah, because that man has a job, and you show up to these levels and you're like, oh, this guy's at work, and then there's people trying to do some archaeology. And then there's one dude taking a nap, and one that's stuck somewhere. That's just, how did you even find your way? How? Okay. And just look, at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that I would gladly lay down my life for any of these little creatures without a moment's hesitation.
That's right.
Yes.
I'll take a bullet from Toad right now just to prove a point. I'll do it.
I like how they're always positioned as Princess Peach's retainers, but they don't do jack shit. They they're just there.
They are enjoying the blessed gift of life better than any of us could ever hope to.
They really are. They really are.
Yeah, the first time we encountered them, one of them was just spinning. Standing in one spot, posing and spinning.
Forever. And every time you log in, there's the one with a little, alarm sound coming out of the Wii Remote speaker that's hey, I've got a letter for you with 5
Mail
lives
Toad.
in it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When you start up your Wii, you get little letters into your inbox from Mail Toad, which is quite amazing. It's the same letter. Yeah, we that's because nowadays you don't get a lot of mail sent to your Wii
house.
I think that is something. I think that is something that's really remarkable. I guess you could say this about any Mario game, but the sound effects in Mario Galaxy are insanely good because they. One of my complaints, I liked Sonic Superstars to I'd give it a B plus C, something like that, or I should say B minus C plus, something in that range, right? It wasn't perfect, but I enjoyed it. One of the things that really bugged me about it was the sound effects are just the straight up the Genesis sound effects. I was okay, how many times are we going to do this? This is in comparison to Mario Wonder, which came out 3 days after it, which has completely new sound effects. Yes, you've heard the Mario jumping sound before in coins or whatever, but they do them fresh for every game. Every game has its own soundscape. Mario Galaxy also has its own soundscape. Think about the sound when you turn into B Mario or some other power-up. It has some sort of escalating, I don't know if it's a xylophone or something like that. But it sounds different from the... Yeah, it sounds different from the other ones in a way that's it sounds like a Mario power-up sound. but it also fits in whatever this thing is so well. And I like that they take the time to do that, because they could just Dragon Quest it and just use the same sounds or whatever. And there's sometimes there's like nothing wrong with that, right? And that doesn't always have to be bad. I just like that Mario games always give it that fresh coat of paint, and Mario Galaxy absolutely does that. Yeah.
Yeah, the audio in this game is incredible. They were leaning really hard into the storage capacity of the digital versatile disc, baby, and the power of the DVD. But
sure
yeah,
were.
like, if you go back and look up photos of like Koji Kondo's office and stuff, like you do when you're normal, throughout the years, he
As
has
one does,
different. Yeah, obviously. Like everyone does all the time.
Yeah.
But no, I spent a lot of time looking at old photos of game composers' gear through the ages because I use that stuff for work. But something about Kondo is he always has the latest shit in terms of, like, if you go back when they were using MIDI instruments for the stuff throughout the eras up until this game, really. Like, he's always got whatever the newest, most realistic, like Rompler banks and stuff are, because they were always trying to make new stuff that sounded as close to actual instruments as they could get, until they were actually recording actual instruments as they did for Mario Galaxy. This was one of the first times I remember seeing a game like OST CD in like normal ass retail stores and stuff. Like, this was it was a big deal.
That's yeah. It's like stands out, I think, big time. Like, just the whole, like, the having like this orchestra doing like a Mario soundtrack. I guess now that's more common, but it sounds like it gives it this other. There's something about the otherworldly. Yeah, no,
it's space opera for sure. Like, they're pulling, like, they're mixing things like synthesizers and electric guitars and stuff on occasion in there, but like it's leaning really hard into this like kind of space age romanticism, I think, of that kind of like 70s, 60s sci-fi a little bit of.
Yes.
I really, you say that, and the first thing that comes to mind, at least for me, is like 2001, using Kubrick scored that almost entirely with stuff that was classical music that existed for a variety of reasons. But I think a lot of the score for Mario Galaxy feels like that very like looking up at the stars and dreaming era of sci-fi, as opposed to the more like dealing with the horrors of reality sci-fi.
I think of like the first Star Trek movie from 1979. I think of like that kind of like the kind of music that like sticks out to me as like that sort of, I don't want to say space opera. I guess it kind of is.
I mean, I just did, so you can. That's fine. Just throw a tomato out the window at me as you drive by first, and then go ahead.
If I threw something out the window and it came right through your window and hit you in the face, that would be the best day of my life. It would be incredible if that could happen.
Thanks, bro.
But
Love
yeah,
you too.
no, I think of like Star Trek, and it definitely has that wondrous vibe to it. And well, I was going to say me, as if everyone knows me. Andrew knows me in this regard. I don't really like orchestrated music. That's just not my thing. I love synthesizers and drum machines and guitars and stuff like that. That's me, right? So like for me to get into music like this, it has to be something special, and obviously, Mario Galaxy demands this. This is exactly what it should sound like,
It fits really well, though, like with all that extra like context. But then it also works on the level of just like being a Mario soundtrack. Like it sounds so like otherworldly, new, as we said, but it also, I mean, I think in a different way, like a lot of Mario soundtracks kind of do that, of like having something that's like you've never heard something quite like this, but also it grounds itself, I think, really well in the context of like the series. And it might just because like obviously they reuse some songs and melodies from the other games, but I don't know, it to me it's the same way the game walks the line of like the different vibes. I think musically it does that really well.
Yeah, we were talking about some of the music, especially the Comet Observatory music, where it's like it's a waltz, and I kept like every time we were there, I was like, I feel like they need to make a ballet out of Super Mario Galaxy, because I kept thinking of that, and it's they kind of use that music in ballets because it does a similar thing where it's giving off a weightlessness. You know,
like
in ballet, you
waltzy,
kind
like,
of the idea is to like look like gravity is not affecting you, and
Right.
yeah, or it is here definitely, but
touching the ground briefly in between floating.
You're floating
yeah,
around.
it's you're a little more.
You're balletic, which should make sense for Mario.
Mm-hmm.
And
especially
it also
here,
doing his little tricks too.
His little, he is doing little,
and spins.
His little spins, yeah.
And
every day I do my little tricks, my little spins.
It does a Mario thing though too, of like, you know, you've got like, here's the like the lava level and like that sort of thing. But then it also, we were listening to the soundtrack and it's like, I don't think any of them, even though they match to fit the levels vibe, the music also like reminds you that you're in space in almost every song, even when it's like straight up like Lava Land or whatever, Cool Hot World or whatever it's called. You always get the vibe like,
yes.
They always throw in some like, you know, sound or instrument or something that gives it this. It doesn't feel strictly like you're just in this type of level. It like, they all kind of have a good cohesion, I guess.
Yeah.
They don't sound like you're in a lava level. They sound like you're on a lava planet.
You mentioned cohesion, and I just feel like it's kind of a good. I think it's just like the whole game is so cohesive. The whole experience is so cohesive. And I remember when I first played it, that really stood out in stark contrast. Not to take a dig at Mario Sunshine, but against Mario Sunshine. And so to see a Mario game come back, and even Mario 64, right? Like to come back and see this thing that is just a complete thing, is really, really, really stood out to me and still stands out today. Like, it's just every piece works with every other piece, and from a presentation standpoint, and it's like a wild accomplishment. I still don't quite understand how they can do something that cool.
Yeah, it's hard, especially, you and I have both worked at very large studios where things tend to move. Turning the ship is a very slow process, and I know things were done very differently a decade and a half ago, but it's wild to look at this game and be like, wow, everything glued together so well.
In terms of everything gluing together, it all glues together. And yeah, like working in a big company with lots of people with different opinions and philosophies, it all glued together, but then also to be able to have that sort of fun and expression, like all that expression in the characters and in the world, like come through. I will forever be amazed that a game can come out like that and feel so breezy and light, just knowing how much work went into it and how not breezy and how not light most of the people probably felt during a lot of the development. So it is an amazing achievement to me.
It's a game that feels extremely expensive, but is not concerned with making sure you know how expensive it was. But before we totally move out of music stuff, I wanted to shout out Mahito Yokota for being the person who handled a lot of the orchestration and a lot of the new music. I know we love to shower Koji Kondo with praise, and understandably so, but a lot of the work on this was Yokota's, and I wanted to make sure that we gave credit where it's due.
Absolutely. The presentational aspects of this game are insane. It feels that way because, and mostly in part to me, I think, because this game is 60 frames a second.
Smooth.
That is so absolutely key to Mario Galaxy in a way. I don't know if anyone remembers. I don't know if anyone's ever seen the like Space World 2001 videos of like Mario Sunshine. It was 60.
Yeah,
but then it came out and it was not 60, it was 30. Something happened. Well, we know that game is fucked up. Like they had to just get it out, right? But like that was one thing that had to be sacrificed. I was hoping on the Super Mario 3D All-Stars they could restore that. They somehow made it 16:9, but they did not. It's still 30. Anyway, it's weird. Point is, Super Mario Galaxy being 60 frames a second is so absolutely key. Think about it. You're flying through the galaxy. You're doing these wild, like, scripted sequences of, like, oh, you shot through this ring and you're flying to the next little orb in the sky and you're collecting these star bits or whatever. I just like that they actually targeted that on Wii, and they knew it from the beginning that that's what they had to do. And, like, look, you can see the corners cut, literally the corners. Things are so polygonal in this game. So many things have like there's a lot of round objects that are not round, right? Like they cut a lot of corners here. And they were right too. They made the absolute right decision making this game 60 frames a second. They had to do it. And Mario has never looked back since, obviously, and they never should. And it's just, I love that they did this on us. And look, this is a time when, and this is part of my frustration with this generation. PS3 360 frame rates were fucking dog shit, man. Like, there's so many games that run like ass. They tried to target 30 frames a second. They did not often get there. You know, like, oh, Jesus Christ, right? So it's just like, you know, and, you know, I know there's a lot of people out there who don't know, who cares about frame rate or like whatever. It absolutely matters.
I promise you, if you played Mario Galaxy at 30 FPS, you would care about frame rate.
Exactly. That's always the example I do. It's like, okay, let me cut your favorite game. You play Fortnite every day or something, motherfucker. Let me cut this down to 25 and see how you feel about it if it doesn't matter, right?
Not like Fortnite.
I bet right? You could run Fortnite at 60 on like a 486. I don't know. I feel like that game scales.
Oh, that game. Yeah.
I think it'll run on anything.
Point is, like, I'm glad Mario Galaxy targeted this. I understand that. Or rather, I love the intentionality behind it, and I love that they understood it, and I love that Nintendo understands that. And Mario Galaxy on a system that's not that powerful, and they made it work. So, presentationally, Mario Galaxy is still super impressive, and I appreciated that at the time, right? But now, going back and playing it, I played it again this year for the first time since it came out, I guess, and boy... Just an incredible looking game, top to bottom.
Yeah, hardware-wise, people like to, and at the time, I guess people like to joke like, "Oh, Nintendo put a new console out, and everyone else is in the HD stuff, but they just taped two GameCubes together." It's like, no, the Wii is not two GameCubes taped together. It's kind of just a GameCube. There's a little bit more going on in there, but it's pretty much just a GameCube, which is something I could not stop thinking about while flying at blistering speeds through these beautiful environments in this game. It's very impressive.
Doesn't even drop. If you can get this game to drop, I've never done it. Like, it's rock solid.
Oh, let's do it. We got a group here. We got our best minds. We can try to drop the frame rate.
How can we get Mario Galaxy to drop frames?
So I wanted to know. Well, okay, so yeah, if we're talking vibes, it's a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, whatever, 5 stars. McKenna, so we have a N64 podcast here. So
what?
I want to know. Yeah, maybe you've heard about it, but you've played Mario 64. Actually, I mean, you've played like a good chunk of Mario games now. We can't even call you a new Mario
decent
fan.
chunk. Yeah,
you're a Mario fan. What did you think from stepping from N64 to like this game? Like, obviously there's a lot of difference, but just from a pure like gameplay, like the fun factor element, what did you think?
I thought it was a big step up. I felt myself like struggling with the controls way less.
Yeah. The camera was still,
yeah, the camera could be a little,
that was a big issue,
funky a couple times, but
I feel like you can count on the camera more in this than
they
Mario 64.
Take
like they
control, and this guides you more, I think.
Yeah, I feel like both games do the thing where it's like they'll adjust to what they think you need to see or whatever. However, I don't know how it actually works, but this one I feel like I didn't often feel like the need too much to even change it. Though I don't know.
Most of the time, they don't even let you. That's the thing about Mario Galaxy. Yeah. It's very fixed, and I think I kind of disagree with Andrew a bit. I think the camera in this game is like almost perfect. Like I very, very few times like I ever thought like, can I not look at it this way? Like maybe like twice. I think that like, because look, if you're using Wiimote and Nunchuck, you can't control the camera like you can in like the other games, right? It kind of has to be fixed because how else are you going to control it or tell it what to do? And most of the time, yeah, you can kind of nudge it and tell it to do, but it's like, I would say 85% of the time, it's like, no, you can't do that. And it's like, okay, I guess I'm just looking at it this way. And I feel like 99% of the time, you are looking at what you're supposed to look at. But this ties into my whole entire thing of like, I think we should take camera control more away from the player, but that's an entirely different discussion.
But finding ways to
in
get
general,
to be clear, it's not nearly as much of an issue for me here as it was in, like occasionally in 64 or God forbid in any given moment of sunshine. But it's
there's no good camera and there's no good camera angle.
We're gonna make some people mad.
That's
with
fine.
this.
I don't care. They can yell at me, not you guys. As always, my bad opinions do not reflect the people around me.
Send your hate mail.
No, I think generally speaking, I think the largely fixed camera stuff in Galaxy works pretty well. I think it is very rarely a problem. And they usually do still give you some pretty intuitive control over it with D-pad adjustment, the same way they did on 64 with the C buttons. But it would occasionally become an issue just less with placement and tracking of the camera and more with things like the focal length and the FOV. Because there's a little bit of space compression and issue judging distances sometimes when you're like in areas that are a little bit more sporadic and you're moving from different pieces of floating like debris in space as opposed to like areas where it's one big level to run around on. But it's, an obstacle course of sorts where you're jumping from platform to platform or whatever, and the gravity is shifting constantly. I would have issues with figuring out where I was landing just because the distance and size of things between each other were a little bit unclear to me from time to time. And I assume a lot of that is because like sometimes you can watch the FOV shift and change around the edges of the screen when you move through different places, and it does help make things feel more dynamic. Like those are things you do with cameras and games to make them feel fun and kinetic and cool, and it's good. But also there were some moments in some of those levels, especially where there was a lot of stuff, like, again, to go back to Slingpod Galaxy, because that's the thing that I'm visualizing, because it was the the millstone around my neck until I cleared it last night, which felt dumb because I was like, that wasn't hard. What was I messing up on? Anyway, but I just mean like levels like that where there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of like debris out in space, and a lot of star bits flying around and particle effects and like shaders and dynamic lighting things happening with big floating stars around and stuff. I was beginning to wonder, because I was finding myself frustrated with some of that like focal length compression stuff with the camera. I was wondering if that was an FOV limitation to keep the frame rate up, because it's not, having to render anything that's outside of the porthole, the view square of the of what you actually see on screen, So I was wondering if they were maybe like tightening up the shot to keep performance up a little bit. And again, that's conjecture, but there were some moments where I was having some issues with it, and that's just what was flowing through my mind. So I don't want the people to think that I'm out here hating on the Galaxy camera or whatever. It was just like, I don't know, occasionally it was something that I butted my head against a little bit. But generally speaking, in terms of like the classic complaint that people have about old 3D platformers, I think this is far and away one of the better examples of that.
Can we talk about people's preferences for control method? If you've done both the original Wii version versus playing on like a Switch controller. I have a strong opinion about this.
Please talk to me about that.
I don't know why I have a strong opinion about this, but I love playing this on the Wii. And of course I love playing it on the Switch too. But there's something about sitting.
You got a Switch too?
Yeah. Whoops. Nope. Just cut this part from the podcast. I'm so well connected.
Nintendo Ninja's coming.
Whoops. I love playing it on the Switch too. No, the Switch as well. But I'm going to be in big trouble if they name it the Switch as well. So I just keep leaking this information. Oops.
Or maybe it's like one of those things where you're like speaking like a prophecy, like you're in like one of those stories where everything you say comes true.
I better be careful. Yeah, this is like the butterfly effect. I'm just like saying all these different things, and then it comes true, and it changes the course of history. But in speaking of the course of history, I will say there's nothing like sitting back on the couch with the nunchuck in your left hand and the Wiimote in your right hand, like just all the way apart. People who are listening can't see this, but I'm like luxuriating. And my left hand is all the way out, my right hand is all the way out, and I'm playing this game. It's the most perfect vibe for this game. Sitting there and playing it hunched over a, pro controller or something like that seems to me to lose a little bit of what the game is going for. That may be a very me thing, but I'm very curious what you all think.
Well, you can do it Joy-Cons, right? Because
that's what I was going to say. I definitely feel like using the two Joy-Cons gives you like 95% of that. There is something to holding two asymmetrical things like a nunchuck and a Wiimote. Like I do think there is something to that feel, literally tactile feel. However, I think using the Joy-Cons is also very much the same thing, and I would definitely suggest if anyone's playing it that way, to play it that way. I think that is optimal as hell, personally speaking. So yeah, I do agree with you that there is something to that control scheme, and Mario Galaxy is just, I don't know. Oh my god, I was going to say there's something cosmically whatever, but we're talking about space, so like yeah, I'm going to pretend I didn't say that.
It's just inherently cosmic.
All around cosmic. You're big into the dual Joy-Con
that's just like
style.
In gaming in general. When I'm not playing handheld, I've just got my hands wherever.
Yes,
the Joy-Cons, like
I'm with
across,
you. That's exactly,
or like holding them like this, like arms crossed.
That's always the feeling. Other than you're wired on Wii, that you can't stretch as far as you'd like. But I always love that about the Wii, and I think for me, it's even better than the Joy-Cons just because the form factor of those controllers is much nicer than... I love it. Like, we're really getting into the weeds a little bit. Thanks, Nick. We're talking about, like... I'm talking about... That's my fault,
matters, though, I think, for this game. It does make a difference. And I'm with McKenna. I love I use the two Joy-Cons whenever I can. I'm like one of the people who use, like, the kickstand on the Switch. That's how I like to play. So, like, if I'm playing it at work or something, I just kick up the kickstand, and I can hold the two Joy-Cons and just, like, cross my damn arms or whatever and, like, play. You know what I mean? I can do whatever I want with my hands, which is, like, perfect. And, yeah. Mario Galaxy definitely demands that hand freedom, I think. There's nothing wrong with playing with a pro controller, though. I don't think it's like necessarily like a lesser game or anything. It's just that I feel like definitely having your hands free.
This is all fascinating to me as someone who has only ever played it on the Wii, because I spent like all week just going like, man, I wish I could just use a regular controller.
And you can, and that's a perfectly, if you were to get 3D All Stars,
you'd not
be
buy that
at
anymore.
Home. I don't think there's anything
unless you
wrong with that.
Track down one of the like weird limited physical copies they put out, but then I would have to put a thing that has Mario Sunshine on it in my house. I'm that evil in my home.
I have a thing to like kind of dump on Mario Sunshine a little bit.
By all means, yes.
Just because, and this is tying back to again like I feel like with the Mario series you had with Mario 64, like, well, a lot of games did this at the time. It was the obvious thing, but it felt like this whole new world, like this classic series now in 3D. It's like revolutionized gaming, and like, adding all the types of like context jumps and stuff like that. It really felt like it brought the series to 3D, but also introduced a lot of new elements. It's like new and thrilling. And I feel like with Sunshine, they take away one of the best moves they added in the game. But like I don't feel like it was like, it's something we talked about in the Mario 2 episode, Dre, where it was like Nintendo will do something if they feel like they got something to like add to the, something they want to evolve or whatever, something new they want to present.
The reason people always bring up how we have not gotten a new F-Zero since
that's always the example I use, and I probably said that example in the Mario 2 episode. It's like they don't have anything. They did all the F-Zero they can do. They don't have an idea, so they're not going to do it, you know?
So Sunshine, it doesn't fill me with that sense of like wow, like I can't believe
desire to go on living.
Yeah, no, it's just that sense of like I can't believe they did this, you know, like this is unbelievable.
Can't believe they got away with this without immediately
I do think
going to the Hague.
I do think I can't believe they did this, but for a different reason. Yeah, no, but like Mario Galaxy, like it feels like you obviously can't just like wow everyone by like making your game 3D again, or can you by almost like it
making it the 3Dest game
3D.
That ever 3D.
Exactly.
It doesn't even have a 3D button. That's the only thing it's missing.
That's what it is like they like did it again. They like did it again. They can't do it again. I don't think you can't like I don't know, but that to me felt like it gave that same sort of like wow factor that Mario 64 has, that Sunshine is, well, you don't know about Sunshine, but did you sort of have that like with the gameplay? Did you feel like
just definitely the just being able to run around objects and having the gravity, you know, switch when Mario would jump from one object to another,
and like it's sometimes just like amazing. You can just like jump to something that if you were, I don't know, it's like intuitive, like the way you can jump to a certain planet, and even though it's like up here, you know, like I'm gonna jump to this and I'm gonna like stick to that, you know what I mean? And it like almost
like eyeball the distance, be like, if I jump up I might fall down. Let's try that.
Yeah. And it's never like, I mean, there's a couple times where you're like, whoa, what's going on here? But like a lot of times it's like, it's just weird how it all feels right, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I guess we got tripped up a couple times because things will sometimes go a little haywire, but for the most part, like that just blows me away now, playing it now.
Mm-hmm.
If this didn't exist and it came out now, you'd be like, what the hell? How did they do this?
That is a good point. Like if Mario Galaxy, let's say this, obviously these two games never existed. Let's say this were like a Switch 2 launch game or something. This would blow everyone's mind. You know, it's not like a concept that's just like cool for the time or just like whatever. It's just like this, you know, the fact that it came out in 2007 is cool, but it's also like not tied to any sort of like particular like, oh, they were using this weird technology. I guess they are with like Wiimote and Nunchuck, but you know what I mean? Like it's just a great idea that's timeless, you know?
It's not hardware dependent. It's just like some really, really, really forward-thinking design, I think, and that landed in a place where they were on a hardware platform that was just enough to be able to realize that vision, I think. While finishing this game, I was thinking a lot about Astrobot, which came out earlier this year as well. And while playing Astrobot, I was, you know, remembering a lot of things about Mario Galaxy, which might be part of, between that and all you guys talking about it over the last couple of months is what got me to go back into it. But going back and finishing Galaxy over the last week was definitely a lot of like, okay, it's so abundantly clear now with all of this time in between, how long of a shadow this thing cast and how influential it was and how many different people played it and then took those ideas and went on to go expand on them in other weird different ways, whether that's people that ended up working at Nintendo on, like they always talked about, I think it was 3D World, where they were just like bringing in a bunch of like people that were brand new and being like, yeah, just whatever ideas you got, let's throw them in here and refine them, and just like flexed all of our like most like creative impulses, which I think is something that I've grown to respect a lot more about modern Nintendo. And I think this game is a very good like inflection point in terms of like just looking back at what they've done over the last like 20 years. It's a lot of stuff like this, or Breath of the Wild, where it's like, or 3D world where it's just like we are trying to, or Mario Wonder is absolutely jam-packed with this stuff to the point of bursting, where it's just like we are throwing all of our wildest ideas in here and just letting designers flex as hard as possible, and then everything else is going to coalesce to serve and uplift that kind of principle. And I think they're getting really, really good at making weird, fun stuff in a way that as someone that grew up with Nintendo in the 90s, it feel like modern Nintendo feels a lot more like that spirit of 90s Sega to me now, in a way that I'm a bit more into. But it's just, there's so much in here that's so hard to ignore now, just in terms of the legacy that this thing has quietly had over the years. I say quietly just because I feel like it's almost just assumed now as like a canonical big Nintendo flagship rather, tentpole flagship, one of those.
Flagpole. I mean, we are talking Mario. I mean, I think flagpole is okay to say.
Yeah, that dude loves to slide his way up a flagpole. That's true.
Yeah.
And then Wahoo off the top. But the quick control thing I was going to add earlier was that part of why I wanted to try this game with just like regular dual stick controls or whatever is not for camera or whatever, but just like I feel like I've just always had a problem with the Wii Remote being too slow in its like tracking to feel accurate. I don't know if that's just like I've had a series of bad living rooms over the years where it just was not conducive for that or something, but like for whatever reason I just feel like I've always had issues with the speed of the Wii Remote's like tracking and accuracy to feel comfortable with it. It always feels like I'm holding something that's not quite working right. I don't know. But also, like, I can't just dual Joy-Con it because these hands are designed for an Xbox Duke, baby. The Joy-Con is like holding the tape.
I struggle with that too.
Yeah.
I can't.
I have big hands too, so it is. That's why it doesn't feel as good to me than Wiimote and Nunchuck, but because it's a little. Those are more contoured and more grippy. You know what I mean? But yeah,
sure.
so
but
like,
also, I mean, there are a bazillion Bluetooth controllers you can use on the Switch. It's fine. Like there are a million other things out there.
Of course, but yeah, like I said, there's nothing wrong with using a Pro controller.
There is. Don't tell them that. No, it's fine.
Okay. Do not use a Pro controller, or I will come to your. I already said I was going to throw a tomato at you. Never mind. It's okay. I can't say the same joke twice in one podcast. I have to wait till Lisa.
If you at home play Mario Galaxy on the Switch with a Pro controller instead of on the Wii with a Wii Remote and Nunchuck, Andre will drive up the Pacific Coast Highway to my home, throw a tomato in the window, and then leave. Like, he won't even stop to hang out. Cool, He's done it before. Mm-hmm. Just standing there with vegetable dripping on my face. Do you want a beer or something? No? Okay, all right, fine. Have a safe drive, I guess.
On the face. That's all I need. That's all I need in life.
When we're talking about the like the sort of what they did with like the 3D worlds and stuff, the planets, one thing that I thought about was that it doesn't just rest on, it doesn't stop there, like the game is always throwing you some type of like curveball that you don't quite expect. I think that helps with the nature of just flying from planet to planet, because sometimes you'll be in like the same world you've been in and you jump into one of those stars and take off, and now it's like you're almost in like a different type of game for a moment.
Yeah.
And so I love that. I feel like it's like this pure expression of creativity where it's like, how can we blend all these weird types of mechanics and worlds like together into one? Like let's have a space haunted house level.
Yeah.
Why not?
With a like race mini game attached to the side of it too. Like,
yeah.
There's a lot of. I like when they really compact that stuff together really tight too. So you have like those little like quasi 2D areas where you're like kind of side scrolling, and there's just literal arrows on the backdrop wall telling you where gravity is pointing. It reminds me of Irem's Metal Storm on the NES, where it's a lot of that's not the first game I think of when it's that sensation of jumping just high enough that you cross an invisible line and start falling upwards onto the next thing.
Yeah,
it's so satisfying.
A lot of that in here. Yeah, it's so good.
It's
the 3Dest of 3D platformers, I think, is what I said in 2007.
For sure.
If they find a way to make it more 3D, I will be impressed. I think Odyssey
Dolphins
did a
VR
good
support
job
is
of, like,
great. I'm sure it works wonderfully there, honestly.
Odyssey did a good job of like continuing. I feel like the legacy of the game, but more from a almost came at it from a different angle. But I feel like it fits in that sort of lane of like, oh wow, this is like the Mario I love, but presented in a totally different, like, new sort of way.
Well, we've been shitting on Sunshine, and rightfully so, mind you. But like, there is one thing that game introduced.
Don't forget.
Don't forget it. But there is one thing that game introduced that has carried all through
Chuckster.
like 3D Mario since, and that is, we used to call them the void levels, or just like the sub levels, where it's like you do kind of like a platforming challenge or whatever in Sunshine.
Trial levels in Galaxy?
Yeah. But they also seem very like that's carried over to Galaxy, right? And then subsequently Galaxy 2 and Odyssey and whatever. But in Galaxy, they also feel very integrated. Like, okay, you know how like sometimes it's like, okay, get 50 star bits and make this other new little planet or whatever. And then it's like some anus clenching fear thing of like, okay, you need to get these like music notes off these platforms that are like you touch them and then they disappear. So you need to do this like run of like, or do this like long, okay, I'm out of space, I'm gonna do this long jump or whatever to the next thing because I fucked it up or whatever. And it's like these really fun like platforming challenges, but they're not always just like you go into a pipe and then you go to this other world. They seem to be much more integrated into like the galaxies of stuff that you're doing in the level. It's just, here's something else you can do, which is
like
fantastic.
64 style, and you like stumble into something on the side and it ends up being like an extra star that wasn't on the menu when you jump in there or whatever.
Yeah, sometimes that can happen, but
there's like the secret slide. Yeah.
Right, but in 64, they didn't dare make you do like tight platforming challenges because that game's inertia is crazy.
No, we're there yet.
Like, not in a bad way. I actually love the way 64 feels, but that is not built for like that kind of thing at all.
Mm-hmm. They present them, like you said, like secrets almost, and then I love on top of that there's like other, there'll be like the secret like green stars, or there's like go find Luigi, or the comets. Like I like that there's like, there's like less overall stars in each of the levels, like from that you just select from the menu, but then there's like all kinds of added stuff in there, and I like that they kind of, it's like, okay, we don't need 8 red coins in every level.
Yeah.
Like,
we need 100 purple coins.
I like
I guess some of those are a little...
I like that it was dynamic. Yeah, some galaxies have like 3 stars, some have 7, right? Like, I like that they they mixed it up that way, didn't like force it into this like sort of thing. And that's why it always makes me insane when people this usually comes from like the rare collectathon fans, where it's like, oh, you get the star and then you get kicked out of the
Those
level
aren't real.
or
Those
whatever.
don't exist.
Yeah, and it's like you're not getting kicked out of it's such a fundamental misunderstanding of game design that it just makes me insane. Point is, like, it's like you were saying, Goo, with the dynamic, like, there's so many things to do within those galaxies. Oh, I can do this star, I can do that one. I don't really feel like doing that one. And in Galaxy, it's more true than ever, because I think in this game they only make you get like 60 out of like the 120 versus like,
confirmed.
Yeah. So it's just like, you can really pick and choose. Oh, you don't feel like doing the spooky level? Then don't do it. Right? Whereas again, I'm going to shit on Sunshine. You better do. It doesn't matter what you like to do. You're going back in that hotel, damn it. You're going back in that haunted hotel again.
Structurally.
People will tell you that the void levels are like the good part of Sunshine, and they are less bad. They're still very bad.
Oh, come on. Not even the Sandbird? That's fun. That's cool and weird.
Nope. But I do really like... the parts of Galaxy where they start to make it hard, because I think I have this like built-in understanding of Mario as this extremely approachable, like Disney level, like super family friendly thing. Not as like transphobic as Disney, but like just a very harmless thing to approach for the most part.
Yeah.
But then you get off to the extra stuff on the side where it starts to get like legitimately difficult, and you start to smell what they're cooking, and it's like, oh, all right, I see what, and then you start to understand like some of the I don't know, like priorities and principles that kind of like then leak down into every other part of the tree, I guess. I don't know. It's soaked up through those roots. What are metaphors? No one knows. Anyway, you start to see the other parts that make the rest of the game cool that are maybe not as immediately visible, I think. It's neat. They're having fun with it, and you can feel it, I guess, is what I'm trying to get.
The game does a great job of like introduce. I mean, this is Nintendo, so it's not super surprising, but they do a really good job of introducing like concepts and ways to approach movement and getting you comfortable with them. And then, like slowly ratcheting it up. And then the end game stuff just like, okay, put all of that stuff together in these incredibly tightly designed platforming challenges. There's a late version of the Pixel Mario one where like you have like the panels and you jump on a panel and then it flips it over and you lose the panels as you jump on them. That requires you to do like long jumps and backflips and all sorts of stuff. And the game trusts you to just know how to navigate that in a way that is probably the most exciting thing I've ever played in a video game. That gets back to why this is my favorite game, is just like the feeling that I had after figuring that out and feeling like I truly mastered everything the game threw at me was something that is just so rare. Also, I think this is the best that Mario himself has ever controlled. There's something about I don't have the vocab for this necessarily, but there's something about the distance with which he jumps, the height, all of those little things. There's a certain gravity to his movement that I think is just so incredibly dialed in. And not even Odyssey, I think, touches it.
I think that difficulty aspect is a really strong part of the game, and I think it's why I appreciated it playing it now, is because this was a good co-op game for us, but not because I was doing co-star mode, but because what did you think about it coming at it with you're like, I feel like the Mario controls, like you kind of had to get used to them when you're playing 64, and you talked about like it controls better, but what did you think about like just the challenge of the game overall?
It was, I struggle a lot less with just like moving around. It was still like just wrapping my head around moving around an object instead of like, jumping and going straight back down. It just, if I move side to side while running forward on a planet, I would, go off, rotating on the planet a different way.
I was doing that constantly.
There's a couple times, where like the camera shifts too. You'll be moving one way and the camera shifts, and you kind of have to like reorient.
So
that did
things upside down now.
Yeah, you're like, oh wait, okay, yeah.
You're on like a weird small planet with some stuff on it that makes it slightly awkward to move around, and there's one Goomba, and it's like, oh well, I'm gonna die.
I think the earlier levels are like simple enough that I could get the hang of it, and definitely a lot of the later stuff got more challenging, where like I think if I had more time with it I could have gotten it, but on a time limit, and you wanted to play too and had some more experience, so hand it off to you for the more difficult stuff.
Don't mean to brag or anything, but,
Mario expert.
No, but that but that being said, like if you took out my contributions, for example, like you got more than enough stars to beat the game.
I got to the I unlocked the final area and didn't have to do it at all. We did go there, but we had already gotten 60 stars. So
that's like one of the ways my first playthrough of it, I didn't fully appreciate it. I think I got the bare minimum stars to beat it, which is totally fine. But I anytime something new opened up, I would go check it out, and usually kind of like the introductory levels to a lot of them are a lot more simple. So I think I kind of, for a lot of it, I kind of breezed through it when I first played it, and I was just like, yeah, whatever, not impressed, whatever. But then, like, I don't know, I was this is more an indictment on me at the time, so, but playing it this time, doing it kind of like together, like all the levels I played for the most part were like the sicko levels basically, and I'm not even good at that sort of stuff. Actually, I died a lot. It made me really angry, but I had so much fun. But I got very frustrated, but it was awesome. I was loving every second of it. I have like this weird addiction to doing it again.
Often I'm not sure if you're enjoying a game, but you keep playing.
I was like, this goddamn Spring Mario.
Oh, Spring Mario! I forgot.
Mario. Yes, that I did hand off Spring Mario.
Oh man, yeah,
that man's a problem.
It made me so frustrated, but it was like so addictive too. It definitely was like I die and I was like, just one more. I got it. I swear. So yeah, that was the way it was fun in that way, because like we didn't get after we beat it, and they're like, you can now get like 40 more stars. I was like, holy shit! Like I really seemed like we got way too many, but then that's what I mean. It was like it felt like we got way too many because we were like unlocking the end of the world, like the end of the game before we even like approached like
Super Mario Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Switch 2 in 2025.
But then we beat it, and they're like, there's a crap ton more to get. I was like, and I did a couple of the levels that were available to us then, and I was like, I think I'm good for now. Like I was kind of humbled by the game, you know, because before I always had this attitude of like, yeah, it's too easy, you know. Now I'm like, I could. This game has beaten me. I've been defeated by it.
Oh no!
No, in a good. It was like
in a good way.
In a good way. I was like impressed by how much more there was, and how, like at that point, even how difficult the levels were. So I was like, there's 40 more stars, and I imagine a lot of them are.
You're gonna work for
challenge.
it,
yeah.
Yeah, which you should if you're trying to unlock. Is you unlock Luigi, right? That's what happens.
I've never done a Luigi.
Is El real?
He's real. I've never done a
Luigi.
Have y'all done that? I've never done it. You have? Okay.
I've done some. I've done some Luigi. Listen, I love Luigi. He's a slippery guy. He jumps far. It's in some ways a way harder way to play the game, but it's fantastic. Okay. It's so good.
Yeah, I've just never done. I don't know. I'm kind of a Mario truther, I guess. I don't know. I just feel like that's that's how I roll here.
You want to see Mario's birth certificate?
Yes.
That's the old Jeff Gerstmann logic, picking Mario in Mario Party every time. Just like, it's his party.
Yeah, you gotta play as Mario.
Name on the box.
used to fucking make me. I think most people know I was a Mario Maker 2 sicko. I made 100 out of the 100 levels they allotted me in that game. I filled up the entire thing, and I always wanted to play as Mario. When I see people playing as don't play as Toadette. God damn it! I made these courses for Mario. I understand they all control the same, okay? But don't do it.
It's so good. My wife just finished Wonder a couple days ago as Toadette, and I was like, "All right, I forgot Mario was in this game." I was playing Super Toadette Wonder over here.
Yeah, this is Super Toadette Wonder.
Oh, yeah, Toadette.
Remember that game where you play as Toadette?
Wait, that's cool.
Yeah, remember all those rad games with everyone's favorite Nintendo mascot?
When's the next Toadette game coming out?
I'm saying, man.
Oh man! Didn't they just introduce
Justice for
her?
Toadette.
Isn't she just like a creation of like Double Dash? Didn't they just introduce her so Toad could have like a girlfriend or something, or like a partner in the cart? Right? I feel like that's
Poor Toad.
She's much more than that.
I feel like he could have gotten a girlfriend on his own, but
Toad contains multiple.
They had to create Toadette for him. Okay, this is kind of random, but I don't know when else I'm going to mention this. I really love the gameplay thing where if you defeat an enemy by like spin attacking them, right? They'll turn into like star bits, but if you jump on them, you'll get a coin. Typically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is great because it's like if you do the more risky thing, you'll get something to refill your life, which is like something I did not think about until I replayed the game earlier this year for when I was talking about it on Select and Start with Kiefer, because I was like, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that when I was, 25 or whatever in 2007. But like that is such a great gameplay thing, you know?
It like allows you to like, if you're like, oh, I'm down on health too, I'll go for that.
Right.
You would do that a lot. Like, but if we could get the star bits, we would you obviously need those to feed your boys.
Feed the big boys,
Feed your boys.
That is a cool mechanic.
I feel like that's something that people were not like talking about a lot until like the Doom 2016 Glory Kills made a big like marketing deal out of the, not like formalized marketing deal, but like there was a lot of hay made from the idea of the risk reward of going in and like punching health out of more enemies, like pushing you to keep fighting forward. And like that's a very Doom 2016 type of way to frame that, but like that's just classic good game design, man. Like it creates that tiny little spike in tension when you need health and the game is beeping at you. You're slightly more stressed out, and as we said earlier, jumping on a Goomba in this game is a little bit scarier.
Yep, but
especially here, you can only take 3 hits too.
Yeah,
so there's a little bit more.
You can't just like jump in the water and get it back up again. You have to, go beat a coin out of somebody.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when I saw that extra air meter, I was like, "What the hell?" But now it makes sense to me. I think actually that it kind of tunes the balance of the difficulty a little bit better, where you can only take the 3 hits and then you can get the upgrade, as opposed to
which they place manually where they want you to have access to it.
Yeah,
which I think is good.
Do you think that Mario's ever confused about why over the years he handles his health in different ways? Like, do you think he's confused? He's like it used to work if I just went into the water and came back out, it was
been popping his own supply all these years, man. His body, his whole entire genetic structure has been rewritten.
There's a high price to pay for that sort of behavior. That
I asked myself that,
but yeah, you're right.
I used to be able to handle my health in one way, and now I have to handle another. That's just getting old.
Yeah.
I used to have 6 bars of health.
That is how I feel. 3. I guess
it's true.
Just have kids.
It's
cases. Just having kids. It's like you just have kids, and then the 3 of your bars go away.
They get some of your health bars. It's like when you lose a life in which Mario game is it where you can give your buddies some of your lives after you die? Mario 3?
Yes, I feel like you can do that. Or is it Mario World? One of the two, right?
What are you talking about?
Because is someone game over? If someone game overs, right? You can give them some of your lives. So if Luigi's down to 0 lives and you still have 22 as Mario,
when you're trading back and forth.
Yeah, you can give them to
the 2-player mode.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's what happens when you have kids.
Yeah. See. Playing those games on NES as a kid, I just considered that the double the amount of lives that you have mode, and occasionally your sprite's a different color.
Wow, that's something.
My sisters were too young to play at the time, so I was just like, whatever.
Yep, double lifetime.
I think we already kind of touched on this area in general, but I wanted to say reiterate one thing that when I first played again, I didn't fully appreciate was just the hub. In general, I always was like, oh, the castle is way cooler. I think there's still something unique about that, just having the different rooms you go into and stuff like that. But I have kind of
made me want to explore that castle area and the slightly elevated fidelity of the Nintendo Wii so badly. That's probably just on that No Clip website. Actually, I should check that. Keep talking.
Well, I was kind of here appreciating the hub of this world a lot more than I did at the time. The way you slowly light it up, and there actually is a nice scale to it, so even though it is this big open area, it's still, I don't know, it's still a cool presentation, and adding, you're talking about adding the music and stuff as you build it up.
I'm currently exploring that area in a web browser in glorious 4K.
Just hanging out. Yeah, we should have had that up for the whole time. Just hanging out in the hub.
Here, I'll drop a link in the chat.
Oh, perfect. There's. Yeah, let's pull that up actually. Oh yeah.
Just while we're here,
you know what I like? I like the when you take the little warp points and it makes that sound.
So good.
I love that. I love that sound.
Yes,
that's the best sound in the game, I think.
When you pull onto those little blue icons from far away, and it just
so good.
That sound that everyone knows.
They do.
His footsteps on the in the hub world where they're like it's like he's running around and it looks like it's like sounds glassy a little bit. It's fantastic. It's
when you jump on those,
a very
like,
nice thing.
Like they have different noises too when you get on the little platforms. Oh yeah,
it's great. It's so good.
It's fun to just kind of like jump off the side too and like see where you land.
It's just a fun game to do anything in. Yeah. I feel like that's the thing, right? Like the promise of a good Mario game is that it's just fun to do whatever's there because it feels so good. There's all the little details. Everything about it is just a joy to experience and engage with.
It really is.
There's a reason that I think just running around in front of the castle in Mario 64 is still like in and of itself a fun and enjoyable thing to do. Like they just made the movement good. Like I mean, that's not a nuanced, fresh opinion that no one has ever had before or whatever, but just like, yeah, they really spent the time to make it feel good to run around and jump and stuff, which is good because those are kind of the main things that you do.
Just so you know, I took that link you sent and I pointed it right at the water because it's got beautiful water, but then also the galaxy is like reflecting in the water. So if you want to do like, that's the way to hang out for the rest of
yeah, did you know that this water is just a hole? With the texture over the top of it? Yeah, they didn't I thought that maybe they would do that. Like they did duplicate some of the geometry, like the boat and stuff underneath it, but if you just clip the camera through it, it's just a texture plane.
It's just a hole. Okay.
It's not duplicating the skybox, it's just a hole so you can see the bottom of the skybox. It's just a hole in the ground.
60 at all costs.
Video games are so cool, dude. Every single part of them is a cheap trick and illusion. It's all smoke and mirrors and it's
gotta
beautiful.
Get the 60 any way possible. Gotta get there.
Worth it. Worth it. But again, I mean, like, that's just, like, that's just being clever. Like, it's stuff like that looks really good, and it's not something that a player would ever encounter in any, like, actual play session or whatever. And it's just, there's a lot of very economic use of space and resources here that just let the art shine and the vibes with it.
You know what I really like? I like that there's like levels that are still give you like Mario 64 vibes. Like there's that one ice level, right, where you get like the ice bar, you kind of skate around or whatever. You get to the top of the thing to get the star. That's like straight up a Mario 64 level. I like that there's still room for that. Mm-hmm. It's not just all they realize, like, okay, you can't just make it all spherical, like shoot yourself to the next thing and like, space. You can still have like moments where it's like, okay, this feels like, something from the past. It's weird to talk about something from 2007 to feel like, Mario 64 is in the past, but I guess at that point it was 11 years old, but it just, what is even time? I mean, Jesus Christ. Point is, like, it's incredible, the level design variety. I mean, I think we talked about some of the racing stuff. It's like this planet is just a ring of water. It's a water donut, and we're just gonna do this fun stuff with penguins now. It's like I want to give.
I'm always down to do fun stuff with penguins,
for real, man. God, it's just. I don't know. This game is a delight. That's all I'm saying. This game, Mario Galaxy is good. Everybody, have you heard the word?
Hot take.
Yep.
I watched like a explainer on how like they made the gravity work, and it was it was impressive to see how they got it to work with all those different like shapes of planets and things like that. But still, again, to what you were saying, Andrew, like they had to like find like simple ways, to do it like by making these shapes instead of like doing it based on whatever the polygons or whatever, because like it would be too difficult to do it that way. It's like way more simple if they're like, okay, we've got a circle shaped planet, just straight up like everything goes this way, then they had one that was like we can make like a snake path for like some of those like more thin sort of ones. So I don't know, that was really cool.
Yeah, I think the only time I can think of that the gravity in this game ever worked in a way that I was not expecting was when I would try to block, like when there is a gravitational object, because sometimes it's not even a planet, it's just like basically a platform with its own gravity, right? When it's a cylinder and you get to the end of the cylinder where it's a circle and it doesn't pull you back into the center of the object, you just fall off the side. That was a thing that happened like literally once, but every other thing you run around and jump on in that game is really, I think, intuitive, and again, it's just very cleverly weighed out. It's clean. It's like I was saying earlier, it feels very economic.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of extraneous stuff going on.
Nick, you sent the manual. I feel like we should have touched upon that as our manual expert.
I wasn't going to. I didn't want to come on. I didn't want to come on here and just be like, "Hey, check out this bit that I like to
Let's
do."
read the whole thing.
All right, I hope everyone's ready for an hour and 15 minutes. I
struggle with that sometimes coming to other shows. It's like, I need to not come on here and do fine time. I'm doing something else now.
I only bring it up because if anybody is listening, do go take a look at the manual, because it's beautiful. It's a Nintendo
luxurious.
Wii era manual, so it's gorgeous. Mm-hmm. It's like glossy paper.
It weighs 46 kilograms.
Yeah, it's 155 pounds. It took like 1,000 trees. It's full of chemicals to get that gloss, so it's the good stuff. It's like you open it up and you're just filling yourself with microplastics, but it's fantastic.
It's worth it.
In the best way possible.
It's worth it.
Smells like ink.
It smells like ink. It's so good. God, it's so good. But I did want to point out, and if it's okay with y'all, there's not much in there from a story standpoint, but I did want to point out, like, this is one of the more story heavy Mario games, I think, that's out there in, in terms of all that.
It'll kill you.
There's a lot going on in there. And in the manual, though, it tells you like absolutely nothing. I'm wondering, would y'all be okay if we read the one page that's the story section?
Please read that prologue, because it opens like the opening crawl from Symphony of the Night. Like, it's
it's so good.
Tell me.
It's funny because there's like it tells you nothing, and I'm impressed by that. I'll just go.
It?
Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah, please.
It goes, prologue. Every 100 years, which I didn't know from playing the game, every 100 years, a huge comet flies by in the skies above the Mushroom Kingdom. 1 year, that comet. So none of these people were alive to see the last time, is my presumption. So
did you guys unlock the inverted comet at the end, by the way, where you go back and do all the other like remixed bosses and stuff? Sorry, that was a joke for apparently no one else on this call. My bad.
I was like, Mario can go and undo the damage he's done to the Mushroom Kingdom by getting on the reverted comet.
Yeah.
No, I was just keeping up the Symphony of the Night bit. I'm sorry.
He atones for his
mistakes. They talk about this comet like
yes.
it's Dracula's castle, dude. Like,
I just got it.
it.
I feel like an idiot.
No,
Me too.
I am definitively the idiot here. You're fine.
It says 1 year that comet filled the entire sky, and from it fell a stream of shooting stars. The toads scooped up the star bits and brought them to the castle, where they were reborn as a great power star. It was a happy time in the Mushroom Kingdom. Then one night Mario received a letter.
Dun,
and they make
dun,
it sound like it's going to be really scary, but it's just a letter from Peach where she does say something.
I baked a dog shit cake. Please don't come over.
She doesn't even offer the cake, maybe because she remembers how the cake was received last time. She doesn't even offer him a cake, but she says something that's weirdly like hard to parse. She goes, "Dear Mario, I'll be waiting for you at the castle on the night of the Star Festival. There's something I'd like to give you from Peach."
We never find out what that is, do we?
No, I don't think so. I have no idea.
She was writing that with one hand and cleaning a shotgun crooked over her knee with the other on a porch with a cigarette.
We need to
hanging
put Mario out of his misery.
There's something I'd like to show you. Make fun of my cake. See what happens. With invitation in hand, Mario headed off to the castle just as the Star Festival was getting into full swing. Surrounded by toads gleefully trying to catch falling star bits, Mario was looking forward to the night's festivities. But then something happened. And that's it.
That's it. It ends on something.
That's all they tell you.
All right.
Yeah. Then something happened. Uh-huh.
And then it moves on to the table of contents.
And then the story of the game is really just like you learn about Rosalina, like through the storybooks, right? Like, so you're like,
here's this horrifically sad woman we invented. Please enjoy.
Oh my god! And the ending is sad as hell too. Like it's like, okay, I guess it's time to be Stardust. Bye, bitch. And then it's like, roll credits, man.
I told our friend the emotion engine on the internet that I had finished this last night, and he was like, "Congrats on helping Mario bring about samsara, just like renew the cycle again."
Yeah,
just link the flame over here.
Jesus, man,
yeah, this game is the true emotion engine.
Yeah.
McKenna, you've played all these games where Rosalina is just like, you know, a kart racer.
Yeah, Mario Kart, yeah.
She's
like, I don't know who this lady is.
How did you feel to finally like meet her? You actually have some one-on-one time.
It was nice. I was like, wow, this lady I didn't know anything about, that was just like an avatar, is actually like the deepest character in the series.
In Mario.
It's like the most written dialogue of any character in Nintendo history up to this point, I would imagine. For sure.
Easily.
Yeah, because my kids also knew her as being in Mario Kart and stuff, and then she shows up on screen, and all I can think of is I'm like, damn, in 2007, girls really only had one eye. The era of Hot Topic, baby.
You know, that was the style, yeah.
Yeah, between Twilight Princess and Rosalina, I feel like Nintendo was having their Hot Topic moment for sure.
It was just in the water at the time, you know. She is one like neon streak and like raccoon tail pin away from being a scene girl.
I was gonna say she's almost seen as fuck. She is practically seen. Dude. She's almost there. Yeah.
Hit me up on MySpace or whatever.
This MySpace it's 2007, baby. You gotta get with that shit,
man. 100%. She's.
If
not for being completely blonde, she's like one MyChem shirt away from being in a completely different video game.
I'm not okay, Mario.
I promise. And she's not.
No, she's not. And I don't know if I don't know. I feel like let's get Rosalina back. Let's get her back.
Hey,
give the poor girl a happy ending.
If Mario Odyssey can somehow reintroduce Pauline to everybody, I feel like it's time.
Yeah, I feel. Yeah, I think maybe if they ever do another Odyssey or something, let's lean into the galaxy a little bit. He's out there on his little ship, right, flying around.
Yeah.
Let's go see what she's doing. Call her up. Like I know we only really hang out to play like kart and stuff together, but like maybe
tennis.
We hang out.
Yeah, I also had to explain to my 5-year-old playing Mario Kart who Pauline was yesterday, and I was like, I don't even know how to. Okay, Donkey Kong? No, not that one. The other one. No.
Yeah, it's like, what do you even?
How do I even provide context for this? I was like,
Mario's kind of a hoe, huh? I mean, man, he's getting around.
Look, the whole time they're focused. They stay focused on Peach. They don't ever take their eyes off the prize. He doesn't falter.
Except in the entirety of Mario Galaxy, where she shows up again in the end cutscene. I'm like, oh, right, you exist.
Yeah.
He's just... Y'all remember the ending of Odyssey, right? I mean, I just feel like Mario is just destined to... I don't know. It's just a fate. It's his fate.
Not a thought behind those eyes.
That's the way we like it, yeah.
So Rosalina's got that Anya Taylor-Joy thing where people are just like, I can't take you seriously. Those eyes have seen an iPhone. Yeah, Rosalina. She's probably got it rather good, I think. Especially these Lumas. They seem like good little pals. They're pretty cute guys.
Sure do. But then then I read the storybook, and then it was like, wow, I feel very differently about all of this.
And the art,
again, created to suffer.
I love those though. That we got excited every time they came up. We're like, all right, it's time to suffer. Let's go do it.
Oh man.
I love the art style and everything, and the music. It was very sweet. I can only imagine if I actually played if this was like my first Mario game and I was like a little baby, it would probably it would probably affect me like even more. It would probably be a life-changing video game,
Well, I told you during the Mario 2 episode, that ending made me sad, right? Because I was a kid. It was a dream. right? And it just made me feel like it really hit me out because I was like 6
I used
or
to
something.
read Word Up magazine.
It was just, it just made me feel so like, I would imagine if I had played Mario Galaxy at that age, this would be even more devastating than Mario just waking up from a stupid dream, right? So
I mean, Link's Awakening was that for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That got me.
Of the like, oh no, not only are all of these people dead, but like they never existed. Does that mean they were unmade? Does that? Oh, and then just start like thinking about time and consciousness and
am I alive? Will I die? Like, yeah.
What is anything?
Yeah.
Who's this Descartes dude?
Mario 2 did that to me in Mario Galaxy. Well, I mean, like, yeah, look, maybe I had no thought behind my eyes when I was 25 or whatever when this game came out, but now at 42, woo, baby, reading that storybook makes me feel a certain way. I tell you what.
Does it remind you of when the Earth cooled?
It reminds me of when I was a young man and I am no longer.
Yeah,
I might become space dust.
We all, dude. This game ends with something like that, right? There was some line in there that was just like,
yeah,
something very much along those lines of just like everything is and will eventually.
Doesn't Rosalina just become the galaxy or something? Doesn't she just become space dust or whatever? Like, isn't that what the point is? I think. Isn't she essentially now dead?
Yeah.
So, like, I remember when she showed up in Mario Kart Wii, I was like, "Lady, I think you're dead. Actually, I don't."
And she was like, "No,
you're allowed to be here."
That's even creepier, actually. That is like, is this like they all got together for the races, and then she shows up, and everyone's like, "All right, is anybody gonna say anything?"
We're gonna. You guys see this too, right? Like,
it's better we don't ask.
It's like when Sonic Heroes
just put
came
too much
out.
hot sauce on my pizza last night.
It's like when Sonic Heroes came out and Shadow was just like there, and it's like, bitch, you died like 2 years ago. What happened? You died. Okay, you're just here now because you're popular? Okay, I guess. Whatever. I guess Shadow the Hedgehog can be a thing now, but you died.
Nobody else knows what he's talking about, right?
No.
He died in Sonic Adventure 2. He died. They had a big in memoriam picture at the end, too, over the Earth, superimposed over the Earth that he burned up in re-entry. He's dead. Shadow is a ghost.
Respect
Wake me
to all those
when you need me. Shadow the Hedgehog, 2007.
At the Oscars, there they had him in the reel, like honoring all those we've lost.
Just use the actual picture from the game of him over the Earth, like just superimposed.
I died once on that Bowser fight at the end of Galaxy here, which I think is a nice, like, breezy little fight, but I didn't understand the, like, make him jump on those pads on the last little stage until it was too late. So I died, and I just looked at my 5-year-old, and I was like, Mario's dead. He's not coming back. I killed that man. He's dead for good.
That's it.
He's gone.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, she knew I was goofing, so she was like, yay!
Yay!
I feel like there's so much that we like have not gotten into that we could, but it would be like twice as long. But yeah, the boss fights were actually somewhat fun. I think pretty. Yeah. They up the difficulty on them pretty good. But shoot, I feel like that's a whole.
Like a lot of them are very like Nintendo, like do a thing 3 times in a pattern, but like they ramp up the intensity on that. That like doing that thing is at least still like easier said than done.
Yeah. And they'll revisit, like, I like that it wasn't like every boss, like they would revisit them sometimes, but it would be in like a different context or whatever. Like,
as opposed to like Mario 64. It's been a while. I want to say every boss is largely grab him by the butt and spin him in a circle and throw him off things.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, I do want to mention that I did reveal a second ago, much to Andrew's dismay, that I love Sonic Adventure. Which means I love spectacle.
It's a good game.
Oh yeah, thank you. I'm so glad you're here with me in this moment. Thank you. And I love the spectacle of Sonic Adventure. It's why I love the game so much. Mario Galaxy kind of has that. I love that one. What is it? The Rippin' Rockin' Galaxy? I forget which one that is. With the fortified rocks with the cannons or whatever. I love the one where you go through that thing and you kind of set it off or whatever, and you go through the ring to jet yourself out of there, and then behind you, boom, like it explodes. You know what I mean? Yeah. I love that they like cut that. It's so fucking cool. I love shit like that.
They were hiding a load for the next area you were flying to, and they made it in the coolest way possible.
Stick your fingers up your ass, Andrew. It's so cool.
I'm saying that's good. What do we get? Come on, man. Listen, a certain degree of performative, playful antagonism can be comedic. I wasn't trying to be mean there, I promise.
No, it's great.
I was trying to say they were clever.
It's no holds barred now that he knows your Sonic fan.
Oh, he's
fandom.
known. It's fine.
Yeah,
I'm sitting here literally wearing a Dreamcast shirt, and I'll happily throw the blue rat into a volcano. Let's do it. But anyway, yes.
Nick understands.
Agreed is what I'm trying to say, Andre.
Okay, fine. I know. Jeez, I just want to say something filthy on the air. But
no,
yes,
as is, you're right.
No, it's great. They don't do it super often. Typically, those things are like, okay, you collect a few star bits, they're going to come around your little thing or whatever, and it's something to do while you're loading, apparently. But yes, it's fantastic. I like when they do something
fun animation and beautiful
music.
music and all kinds of stuff flying around.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to be reductive.
It's cool because you'll be flying around and you'll see like the different things, and you're like, "Whoa, where am I gonna land? What like?" And then you start to approach something, and it kind of like you start to like get the actual like picture of what you're gonna do next, and it does have this sort of like sense of like anticipation, you know.
Yeah, it trains you to, as soon as the camera pulls back behind Mario and you're flying towards the level instead of towards the camera or whatever, and just start like sweeping the remote all over the screen trying to grab whatever star bits might be in range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like to do that. That is fun. I like when you can do it. It does it over like a wide flat thing, so you could really get in there and like grab a whole bunch of like the whole level. It's like
satisfying.
I can't believe they let you do that, but they let you do that.
Give me that dopamine.
Yeah,
even the sounds like when like a little like teeny tiny meteorite or whatever hits a surface and makes a little like breaking glass sound and little star bits come out. Like it's so good.
You ever read that thing?
So good. So pleasant.
About how Miyamoto said like how Donkey Kong, the experience of making Donkey Kong basically got him to lighten up, because it's like, you know how that game is, it's super strict. If you like jump off a thing for like one of Mario's heights, you're gonna die because he fell too far. And he's like, man,
operating on spelunker logic.
Yeah, it's like that felt overly serious, like he was saying to himself. And It's like, so I think like, the complete opposite side of that is Mario Galaxy just letting you grab those star bits at the whole level as you're like flying in. It's like, whatever, fuck it, whatever. Let Mario Odyssey basically letting you do wild shit and break the game with Cappy if you're good enough with it. It's like, whatever, just let him do it. I love that Nintendo still lets you have fun that way. It's like, if you can break the game, we will let you.
Mario is out of this world in Super Mario Galaxy, only for Wii.
It's a good game.
Yeah, turns out.
McKenna, anything else you want to throw in there about the game before we wrap it up? I know there's, like I said, there's we could do 2 more hours on it probably.
Of course, but
yeah. I don't think so. Yeah.
2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
We both think it's good. Okay. All right. Well, this was a lot of fun. The 3 people, the 3 guests, it made it even. Yeah, it was very festive. I appreciate you all coming on. We can go. We'll go reverse up the coast now for plugs. Andre, what do you got to plug?
Just my podcast Fine Time. It's a weekly show. We do it every Thursday. It's fun, it's silly. We talk about new games, we talk about old games, we talk about latest news, we talk about we play silly games with each other, silly quiz games. Those are fun. We like to do silly stuff, even eat stuff on the air live. We do live taste tests. We do whatever the hell we want on Fine Time. So come have a fine time with us.
It's great. The series you've been on, the cinematic platformers, has been awesome. So,
I'm glad you've been enjoying those.
You're right about Flashback, by the way.
Huh?
You're right. Just
it's
Andre was right about Flashback.
It's good. I'm
sorry.
Hashtag
Andre was right.
It's good. Okay, you're actually saying I'm right about
Another
something?
bold claim. Flashback, good video game.
It sure is. Fade to Black is something interesting. That's happening next week. But we
Great Metallica song. That's about
we
it.
do all sorts of stuff on Fine Time, and God damn it, I had Andrew on to talk about music. That was legit one of my favorite things to record ever and put together. So thanks for being on for that.
That was good. Yeah.
But yeah, I really it's a fun show. Hopefully you can join us sometime.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Fine time.
Everyone go check that out. Nick, how about you? What do you want to plug?
What do I want to plug? My dang ears when I hear the news in 2024. That's just a bit about current events. Yep, no, I'm just doing a bit.
No.
Am I right,
we have
folks?
fun. we have fun. We have fun, folks. I guess I'd like to plug, you know what? Why don't we go with my stream? My stream is, I don't know what I'm talking about right now. I'm having to quickly reboot and think about this. I do a stream every Wednesday called Instruction Derby. There we go. I'm off to the races, folks. Instruction Derby every Wednesdays, where we go through video game manuals and read them and listen to music from them, but also to music from our friend Andrew over here as the background. Yep, it is good stuff.
I'm so sorry.
No, and it's fantastic, and have cool guests on. Now we've had as of the time of this, when this show goes live, the good folks from Flashback 64 over here will have been guests more than once on the stream. So we read manuals, hang out with friends, and get to learn a lot about them video game booklets. And yeah, if you're there early enough for every stream, I show a clip from Road Blaster on the Sega CD, which has one of the best best theme songs of any video game of all time. I'm also on Blue Sky at mcconnell.bsky.social. That's my @ and that's me.
I'm excited for tomorrow, which by the time people are listening, it was last month. But the VOD will be. We'll link that because those are a lot of fun.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you'll be listening to
reading
some
along
Zelda.
a paper manual for this one.
We love
and
the Zelda game.
shit posting in the comments. I've got it blocked off my calendar.
Yes. Please do it.
How about you, Andrew? What do you want? What do you want?
Yeah, I would. What do you want? I would love to plug Flashback 64 and Instruction Derby and Fine Time, and that's it. No, I don't know. I've got some music stuff that I'm really excited to share to this audience that I can't talk about yet, and I don't know if I will be able to talk about it next month yet either, so I'm still not going to say anything. I don't know. Some of that also has been... some other music that I've done has cursed its way onto Fine Time as well as of late.
Sure has. I was about to say, hire this man.
But
if you've liked the cinematic
Nintendo
platformer series, you have heard some of maybe this guy's music.
And Instruction Derby.
That's right.
It's bumping there all the time.
It's so good. It's so good.
This guy right here, I tell you.
I was going to reveal a secret dumb gift regarding Instruction Derby, but I'll let that stay under wraps. Don't worry about it.
Is this a scoop?
But, it's a hot sclusy. No, I'm basically just hinting at a bunch of things I can't actually talk about instead of talking about anything. But no, I'm over at elmore.zone on Blue Sky. Got some music coming down the pipe through Brave Wave pretty soon. That should be fun and neat, I hope. If you like, say, old racing games or very specific Sunsoft titles on the Famicom, by the time this goes up, hopefully we will have finally got the ball rolling on this, but my buddy Adam Ismail over at Time Extend, our racing game podcast, and I used to have a music podcast called The Silent Discographer, which we are relaunching with our boy Andre here to cover REM quite soon.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Which will be fun.
Okay.
Whoa.
That's cool because I've been meaning to dive more into their discography. I've listened to all the albums, but it's like not extensively. So that's going to be a good excuse.
Dive in.
Listen along with us.
Probably. Other than that, I would just like to leave you with the thought of, to be a little toad gleefully trying to catch falling star bits.
To be.
Could be.
We all
I
wish
don't
we
want to
could
say
be the
anything
Toad.
else after that.
Just
What is
roll
there to
credits.
say?
Sorry, I ruined it by saying that. Yeah.
No, it's fine. What a beautiful thing to imagine.
Them
In a
toads.
life of constant pain, terror, and struggle, to be a little
Oh, yeah.
toad.
Let me bring back
catching
up.
little star bits.
I'm bringing back up the hub you sent me, just to watch them spin around.
What color toad would you be? I would be a yellow. I would be a yellow toad.
I'd be Captain Toad, obviously.
Captain? Okay.
Wow.
No, he has to work all the
I don't
time.
know. Yeah.
Yes, actually do
Gets
so.
to work all the time.
I'd
If
be
you
the one
love what
that's
you do,
like
Nick, you'll
sleeping.
never work a day in your life.
We're on the same page. We want to be Sleeping Toad.
Yep. That's the actual canonical answer.
Well, thank you again to all of you for offering a lot of time to us for this episode. But it made it even better to have all of you on, and it's warming me up in the winter months. The laughter and friendship is keeping me warm.
Like
So,
a nice blanket.
yeah, thanks again for coming, everybody. Thanks to everybody for listening. Thank you, McKenna.
Thank you.
You don't need to thank me. Don't thank me. No, everybody. Thanks for listening, and we will. For Wiinter, I'm not going to tell you what's coming next, but we have more Wii games for Wiinter.
The Wizard will blurt once more.
Weezer. Oh, okay.
All right. Happy birthday, Ryu. Let's get out of here.
Happy birthday, Rio.
Happy birthday, Ryu.
And we, of course, want to give a special shout out to our Millennium Star tier patrons. So thank you, Cyberlink420, Darren, Infection Form, Jeremy Aber, Kiefer, Nico Sylvian, Paul, and Underline V. You can find more at patreon.com/flashback64.